Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. American Comics. A salted fish, you will become a saint if you hang up. Chapter 41. The nomads chose to stay away from the battlefield. They knew that this battle had nothing to do with them, but it might bring them unforeseen dangers. During the battle, Lin Nan and the Desert Lord's strength began to gradually deplete, and their bodies began to show signs of fatigue. Their eyes were full of determination, and they were determined to defeat each other and win this decisive battle. You can't defeat me. Lin Nan's voice was full of provocation. I have the power of Tesseract, you are just a desert lord, how can you be my opponent? I will not be bound by you. Lin Nan roared, I will regain my freedom and rule the entire universe. The trial is still ongoing and the atmosphere is becoming increasingly tense. Agents know that they must make a decision quickly, otherwise it may trigger a greater crisis. Suddenly, a door with flashing blue light appeared on the side wall of the courtroom. It opened silently, revealing a mysterious figure. Stop. A calm and powerful voice sounded, Lin Nan's fate should be decided by me. Everyone turned around and saw a mysterious man wearing a black robe and a mask walking slowly into the trial room. His appearance surprised everyone. Who are you? An agent asked warily. The mysterious man slowly took off his mask, revealing a familiar and mysterious face. I am the Guardian of Time, I am here to make the decision for Lin Nan's fate. Everyone looked at the Time Guardian in surprise. They knew that this mysterious figure represented the power and order of time, and his words would determine Lin Nan's fate. The Time Guardian walked up to Lin Nan, his eyes deep and serious. Your ambition and arrogance have caused turmoil in the universe, and you must take responsibility. Lin Nan gritted his teeth, knowing that he could no longer escape. He silently accepted the judgment of the Time Guardian, knowing that his fate was sealed. After the trial is over, Lin Nan will be imprisoned in TVA's prison and undergo long-term imprisonment and observation. The Guardian of Time stayed to oversee all this and ensure that Lin Nan could never threaten the balance of the universe again. Behind the judgment, the order of the universe was restored and the timeline was recalibrated. Agents continued to perform their tasks, guarding the stability of the timeline and ensuring the peace and harmony of the universe. Lin Nan was imprisoned in TVA's prison, and his mind was always trying to find opportunities to escape. However, he found that he was wearing a collar with blue light around his neck, which was a tool used by TVA agents to control the timeline. Lin Nan tried to break free from the collar, but found that it was firmly locked around his neck, and no amount of force could take it off. He knew that only by removing the collar could he possibly escape imprisonment. In prison, Lin Nan discovered an agent named Alex, who seemed to have some knowledge of TVA's technology. Lin Nan decided to cooperate with him and try to find a way to remove the collar. Do you know how to remove this collar? Lin Nan asked in a low voice, with a trace of expectation in his eyes. Alex frowned. This collar is TVA's latest technology, and I can't undo it. But maybe, we can find other ways. A trace of disappointment flashed in Lin Nan's eyes, but he knew he couldn't give up now. We must find a way to escape, otherwise I will be trapped here forever. Alex thought for a moment, and then an idea suddenly occurred to him. Maybe we could steal a device that controls the collar so I can disarm it remotely. Lin Nan nodded, and they decided to cooperate and try to find a way to steal the equipment. In the prison's control room, they found a TVA technician performing equipment maintenance. Lin Nan and Alex decided to take the opportunity to steal the device that controlled the collar. They carefully sneaked into the control room, avoiding the attention of technicians, and successfully obtained the equipment that controlled the collar. However, as they were preparing to leave, suddenly, the alarm sounded and the red lights in the control room flashed. We've been discovered, Alex warned in a low voice, and they quickly hid, trying to avoid being pursued by TVA agents. Agents arrived one after another, and the control room became chaotic. Lin Nan and Alex fought hard and tried to protect the equipment in their hands, but they faced the menacing agent and the situation was very dangerous. After a fierce battle, Lin Nan and Alex finally escaped the agent's pursuit and successfully left the prison with the device to control the collar. Back in the confinement room, they quickly connected the device to Lin Nan's collar, and Alex skillfully operated the control interface. Ready, Alex said, now I can remotely remove your collar. Lin Nan's heart was full of anticipation and tension, and he knew this was his only chance to escape imprisonment. Alex operated the device, and a blue light shot out, surrounding Lin Nan's collar. After a few seconds, the collar glowed faintly and then silently came off. Lin Nan felt that after the collar was removed, a release force poured into his body, and he felt that he was free again. He stood up, determination and perseverance shining in his eyes. However, just as he was about to leave the prison, a TVA agent walked in, holding a remote control. This remote control appears to have a similar design to the previous control collar, emitting a faint blue light. "Sorry, Mr. Lin Nan, you can't leave yet," the agent said indifferently, and gently pressed the button on the remote control with his finger. Lin Nan felt suddenly dizzy, as if being pulled by an invisible force. He was surprised to find that his body began to move backwards, as if time was moving backwards. "No," Lin Nan shouted loudly, but he could not stop his body from being forced to retreat. The agent looked at this scene indifferently, as if he didn't care about Lin Nan's pain. He knew that now was the time to send Lin Nan back to his original position. After a period of dizziness, Lin Nan found himself back in the position where he was caught before. He felt filled with anger and disappointment, knowing that he was trapped in this prison again. "You despicable guys," Lin Nan roared, his eyes filled with anger and resentment, "you can never stop me." The agent looked at him indifferently and said nothing. He knows that Lin Nan's ambition and arrogance will lead to his failure, and TVA will always guard the order and tranquility of the universe. The battle between Lin Nan and the Lord of the Desert was entering a fierce stage. They ignored the people around them and concentrated on the confrontation. Their figures moved quickly in the desert, releasing powerful energy. The nomads felt the power emanating from them, and a chill surged in their hearts. They know that this battle may affect the entire desert area, and even the entire world. "What should we do?" asked another nomad, feeling the fear of the unknown. "We should stay away from here," someone suggested. "This battle is not something we can get involved in." In the prison cell, Lin Nan sat there quietly, thinking about the next plan. Although he was forced back to his original position, he did not intend to give up. He knew that as long as there was still a glimmer of hope, he would continue to fight. At this moment, the cell door suddenly opened, and a female agent from TVA walked in. She held a remote control that flashed blue light, her eyes firm and decisive. "Lin Nan, your time has come," the female agent said, her voice revealing a kind of firmness and determination. Lin Nan looked at her warily, filled with doubts. "What you up to?" The female agent smiled slightly and then pressed the button on the remote control. Lin Nan felt his body being pulled again, but this time, he did not feel any dizziness. He was surprised to find that he was not transported backwards, but teleported to a completely new location. He looked around and found that he had come to a strange and mysterious place. "Where is this?" Lin Nan asked doubtfully. The female agent smiled and explained, "This is a secret base of TVA. We need your help to deal with another threat." Lin Nan's eyes narrowed, and he knew that he was involved in a new battle. Although he didn't know what kind of challenges this mission would bring him, he was already prepared. No matter what difficulties he would encounter ahead, he would face them without hesitation. Lin Nan was taken into a building of huge amounts by the female agent. They came to the side of the building, and an ordinary elevator door appeared in front of them. The female agent motioned Lin Nan to enter the elevator, but Lin Nan looked at the door hesitantly, filled with doubts and uneasiness. "Go in, Mr. Lin Nan," the female agent's voice was firm and powerful. "This is the only way to our destination." Lin Nan hesitated for a moment, then walked into the elevator. As the elevator door slowly closed, he felt a strong sense of oppression, as if the entire space was squeezing against him. His heartbeat accelerated and his body trembled slightly. He knew that this journey might be more difficult than he imagined. The elevator began to descend, getting faster and faster, and Lin Nan felt like he was being pulled downward by a powerful force. His mind was filled with a spinning feeling, as if he was in a vortex of huge amounts from which he could not extricate himself. "How do you feel?" the female agent asked. Her voice seemed to pass through the noise of the elevator and reached Lin Nan's ears. Lin Nan endured the discomfort and forced a smile. "I'm fine," he replied, although his voice sounded a little shaky. Time seemed to blur in the elevator. Lin Nan felt that he had spent a long time in it, but he was not sure how long it had passed. He closed his eyes, tried to stay calm, and waited for the elevator to arrive. Finally, the elevator suddenly stopped. Lin Nan felt that his body was pushed forward by a strong inertia and almost fell to the ground. He stood firm with difficulty, looked up, and found that he had arrived in a completely unfamiliar space. This space is full of mystery and unknown, with no signs or instructions around it. Lin Nan looked around, trying to figure out where he was, but everything looked so strange and obscure. "Are we there?" Lin Nan asked, his voice full of confusion and uneasiness. The female agent nodded. "Yes, this is our destination." Lin Nan's heart was full of doubts. He didn't know where he was taken and what challenges he would face. But he knows that no matter what difficulties he will encounter ahead, he must face it with strength, because his ambition and strength will guide him forward. In this strange and mysterious space, Lin Nan will continue to pursue his goals, bravely face all challenges, and fight for freedom and strength. He knows that only by constantly challenging yourself can you grow and gain true strength. Lin Nan stood in this unfamiliar space, his eyes looking around, trying to figure out where he was. This place is full of technology, and the walls are covered with strange devices and screens, making people feel like they are in the future world. The female agent looked at Lin Nan. She took out a document from her pocket and handed it to Lin Nan. The document has the TVA logo printed on it and a series of terms and regulations written on it, which looks very formal. "Mr. Lin Nan, please sign to confirm your acceptance of our mission," the female agent said, handing over a pen. Lin Nan took the document and read it carefully. The document describes in detail the nature and purpose of the task, as well as the content of the tasks he needs to complete. He knew that this was a necessary step for him to take further action. Only by signing and confirming could he officially devote himself to this mission. However, Lin Nan noticed that the terms in the document were not simple. Every sentence was full of hidden meanings, which made people feel wary. He knew that signing this document meant that he had to comply with TVA regulations, and it also meant that he would face huge amounts of challenges and risks. "I want to sign and confirm." Lin Nan finally made a decision. He understood that this was the only way for him to move forward. He picked up the pen and signed his name on the document. During the signing process, he felt a strong sense of responsibility and mission. He knew that he would take on major responsibilities and fight for the future of himself and others. After the signature was completed, the female agent took the document and put it back into her pocket. She smiled slightly, expressing her appreciation for Lin Nan's choice. "Very good, Mr. Lin Nan, you have made the right choice," the female agent said. "Now, let's start our mission." Lin Nan nodded in agreement. He knows that this mission will be a difficult and dangerous journey, but he is ready. No matter what challenges lie ahead, he will face them bravely. Lin Nan's dark energy intertwined with the mysterious power of the Desert Lord, creating dazzling sparks. They engage in a decisive battle in the desert to decide the fate of the universe. "You can't defeat me," Lin Nan roared, his body exuding endless dark energy. "The power of the desert will last forever." The voice of the Lord of the Desert was full of determination. "Your evil will eventually be driven away, and justice will surely win." At the edge of the desert, several people wearing Mongolian nomadic costumes came over, their eyes curiously and vigilantly looking at the scene of the battle. "What's going on here?" asked a nomad, who was confused by the sudden fighting. After signing the documents, the female agent led Lin Nan through the corridor and came to another room. The room was filled with the sounds of machinery, and a glowing screen hung on the wall, displaying a series of numbers and charts. "Here, you need to collect your mission ticket," the female agent pointed at the screen and said. In that empty and mysterious room, Lin Nan's eyes were attracted to a TV. An animated short film flashed on the TV screen and began to tell a story about TVA. In the picture, everything is presented with brilliant colors and vivid animation. The story begins in endless time and space. It was an era of chaos and emptiness, and the entire universe fell into chaos. However, at this time, a mysterious force appeared. They are the guardians of the Gate of Time, and their mission is to protect the stability and order of the timeline. They established TVA, the Time Variation Administration, and became one of the most important organizations in the entire universe. TVA's mission is to supervise changes in the timeline and prevent time confusion and confusion. Through constant inspection and intervention, they ensure that each space-time line can operate according to established rules, thus maintaining the stability and harmony of the entire universe. The animated short film vividly shows the establishment process of TVA and their important role in the universe. Lin Nan watched intently, his heart full of curiosity and awe. In the animation, the Guardians of TVA show unparalleled strength and wisdom. They traveled between different time and space lines, resolving many potential crises and disasters, and brought peace and prosperity to the entire universe. Lin Nan was immersed in the animated short film, and he deeply felt the greatness and mystery of TVA. He knows that he will face a world full of challenges and dangers, but he also believes that he can become a true guardian through hard work and courage. The animated short film ended, and silence returned to the room. Lin Nan's heart was filled with awe and curiosity about TVA, and he knew that the challenges he was about to face would be unprecedented. But he also firmly believes that as long as he has courage and confidence, he can overcome all difficulties and become a true hero. He took a deep breath and pulled himself together. He knew that he was ready to face the next test and challenge. He stared forward, his eyes firm and resolute. He had made up his mind to become a true guardian and protect the peace and tranquility of the universe. At the beginning of the birth of the universe that was full of mystery and unknowns, diverse existences formed the basis of the entire universe. Planets, stars, galaxies, and countless life forms thrive in the vast universe, creating countless beautiful and wonderful landscapes. However, at the edge of the universe, a conspiracy is brewing. A group of ambitious forces are trying to compete for control of multiple universes. They plan to rule the entire universe and make all life their slaves. These forces have gathered the most powerful forces in each universe. They have assembled countless soldiers and battleships, preparing to launch a devastating cosmic war. The entire universe is shrouded in a dark cloud, and living creatures feel the threats and dangers from the future. When the cosmic war broke out, people fell into huge amounts of panic and despair. They don't know what the consequences of this war will be, and they don't know whether they can survive this catastrophe. However, they know their only hope is to unite and fight against the enemies who seek to destroy the universe. Amid the chaos and panic, heroes stood up. They are warriors from all universes. They shoulder the mission of protecting the universe and are determined to defend freedom and justice. On the front line of the cosmic war, heroes fought fiercely. Planets were destroyed, galaxies were destroyed, and living beings suffered from pain and torture. However, the heroes did not give up. They fought bravely, constantly resisted the enemy's attacks, and resolutely defended the dignity and freedom of the universe. In fierce battles again and again, the heroes paid huge amounts of price. Some people died on the battlefield and became heroes of the universe, some people returned injured but still fought firmly on the front line, and some people grew up in the suffering of war and eventually became invincible warriors. In this cosmic war, people deeply realize the preciousness of life and the value of freedom. They know that only by uniting and resisting together can we overcome all difficulties and challenges and safeguard the peace and tranquility of the universe. Amidst the panic and chaos of the cosmic war, 3 mysterious time guardians appeared. Their figures appeared so suddenly, as if they were messengers traveling from the depths of time and space. Their appearance attracted people's attention to them, with curiosity, surprise, and even fear. In this world full of war and chaos, these 3 guardians are undoubtedly an awe-inspiring sight. Is this the legendary guardian of time? Someone asked in a low voice, with a bit of anxiety in his voice. I didn't expect them to really show up at this time. Another person commented softly, doubts and expectations flashing in his eyes. The appearance of the 3 time guardians brought an unusual tranquility. Their figures are tall and majestic, as if they are the incarnation of the Lord of the universe, staring ahead, as if they want to penetrate the mists of time and understand all the mysteries. The cosmic war has caused serious timeline deviations. The voice of a time guardian resounded throughout the space. His voice was like the law of the universe, solemn and majestic. We must take action to sort out the multi-universe into a main timeline to restore order to the universe. Another time guardian continued, his tone cold and firm, like the master of time. Hearing these words, people couldn't help but feel shocked. They finally understood that the purpose of these 3 time guardians was to maintain the stability of the timeline of the universe and restore order to the universe. Lin Nan sneered, his eyes full of ridicule, "Don't you understand yet? I have the Tesseract, I have become the master of the universe, and no one can stop me. After saying that, Lin Nan raised the Tesseract in his hand and released powerful energy. The Lord of the Desert also used his power to try to stop Lin Nan's attack. In the desert, two powerful forces started a fierce showdown. Dust is flying, dunes are rolling, and the world is filled with bursts and collisions of energy. The three-time guardians began their work. Their gestures were graceful and skillful, as if they were weaving a picture of the universe. They stared ahead, watching the ripples of time and space, and began to sort out the multi-universe and integrate it into one main timeline. Their movements are light and dexterous, and every gesture embodies infinite power, as if it can change the trajectory of the universe. The ripples of time and space gradually subsided under their control, the order of the universe began to be restored, and everything returned to its normal track. The multi-universe has been sorted out, and the timeline of the universe has been restored to stability. The three-time guardians announced in unison, their voices like the sounds of nature, full of mystery and power. People witnessed all this, and their hearts were full of awe and gratitude. They knew that it was these three-time guardians who saved the universe from chaos and brought everything back to normal. After the three-time guardians stabilized the timeline of the universe, they realized that an organization was needed to monitor and maintain the stability of this main timeline. So, they jointly created an organization called the Time Variation Authority TVA. TVA's headquarters is located in the center of the universe. A huge and magnificent building stands there. Its appearance is full of features of future technology and is breathtaking. Two soldiers in guard uniforms stood in front of the gate. Their eyes were alert and serious, as if they were ready to deal with any emergencies. Inside TVA, everything is precisely managed and monitored. On both sides of the corridor are tall monitoring screens, which display the operation status of various timelines and alarms for abnormal situations. The staff shuttled between the corridors, carrying out various tasks in a busy and orderly manner. In TVA's control center, a uniformed official is standing in front of the command podium, facing huge amounts of screen, his eyes fixed on the data on the screen, his expression serious and focused. He is one of the senior managers of TVA and is responsible for monitoring the operation of the universe timeline and ensuring that everything proceeds according to the prescribed track. Report: there has been an abnormal fluctuation in timeline 3792. A staff member hurriedly walked to his side and reported to him with a solemn expression. Carry out an investigation immediately to find out the cause of the anomaly and take corresponding measures. The official issued the order seriously, knowing that any abnormality in the timeline may have serious consequences and must be resolved in time. In other departments of TVA, staff are also busy nervously. They monitor and analyze various timelines, and if they find any abnormalities, they will immediately report them to their superiors for timely processing. The stability of the timeline 5120 has shown a downward trend. Another staff member hurriedly reported to his colleagues. They knew that the stability of the timeline is the key to the operation of the universe, and any fluctuations may cause disastrous consequences. In TVA's control center, the tense atmosphere still pervades. The staff are paying close attention to the operation of each timeline to ensure that everything is proceeding on the prescribed track. Suddenly, an alarm sounded, and the entire control center fell into a tense atmosphere. An abnormal timeline is displayed on the screen. A group of people traveling across the multi-universe without permission are destroying the stability of the timeline. Their actions have triggered TVA's alarm system. Lock their whereabouts immediately and notify the agent team to arrest them. A senior official issued the order sternly, his voice full of determination. On the periphery of TVA, agents have quickly moved into action. They are wearing uniforms, holding weapons, and are ready to go on missions. They are the elite force of TVA, responsible for hunting down and arresting those who destroy the timeline and protecting the stability of the universe. Get ready to go, shouted an agent leader. His voice was like a command, inspiring everyone in the team. The agents gathered quickly and hurried towards the starting point. Their targets are those who wander across the multi-universe. These people's actions have seriously affected the stability of the timeline and must be arrested and punished as soon as possible. In TVA's control center, staff members pay close attention to the actions of agents. They are nervous and expectant, hoping that the agents can successfully arrest those who destroy the timeline and maintain the stability of the universe. The agent team has set off and is expected to lock the target soon. A staff member reported the latest situation, with a hint of confidence and determination in his voice. Bottom of form. Lin Nan walked to the screen and followed the instructions on the screen. As he operated, a small ticket was spit out from the exit of the screen. Lin Nan took the ticket and looked at it carefully. His task number and detailed task content were written on it. "This is your mission ticket, Mr. Lin Nan." The female agent said, "Please be sure to remember your mission content and mission number, which will play a vital role in the execution of your mission." Lin Nan nodded and carefully put the mission ticket into his pocket. He knew that this little piece of paper would play a vital role in his mission, and he must be ready for any eventuality. "Next, we will go to the scene of the mission execution," the female agent said, her voice full of confidence and determination. Lin Nan followed the female agent to the other side of the hall. This is a spacious and open space, with a metal inlaid floor covering the ground, and various devices and instruments hung on the walls, emitting a faint light. Suddenly, a huge amount of vibrations came, and the entire space seemed to be shaken by a powerful force. Lin Nan was startled, and he immediately looked around alertly, looking for possible threats. "What happened?" Lin Nan asked, his voice full of tension and anxiety. The female agent frowned, and she also felt this sudden shock. "I'm not sure, we have to check it out," she said, and then led Lin Nan towards the source of the vibration. The mysterious man slowly raised his head, revealing a pair of deep eyes. His voice was like a deep cold pool. "I am the Lord of the Desert, the god who protects this desert." Lin Nan's eyes flashed with a cunning light. "Lord of the Desert, I am here to rule the entire universe. You should know that there is no good fruit for being an enemy of me." The Lord of the Desert was silent for a moment. He could feel the evil aura emanating from Lin Nan. He knew that this man from darkness would bring huge amounts of disaster to the desert and the entire universe. "Your ambition is endless, but you will not succeed." The voice of the Lord of the Desert came. "The power of the desert will not be eroded by evil. I will protect this land until the last moment." They came to one side of the hall and found a huge amount of device emitting a dazzling light. The device is surrounded by strange symbols and patterns, which seem to be releasing some unknown energy. "What is this?" Lin Nan stared at the device, trying to figure out the truth of it all. The female agent also stared at the device intently. "I don't know, but I can feel that this energy is extremely powerful. We must deal with it carefully." Suddenly, the device made a harsh roar, accompanied by a powerful energy fluctuation. Lin Nan and the female agent immediately took a few steps back vigilantly, guarding against possible dangers. At this moment, a small hole in the middle of the device suddenly opened, and a dazzling light shot out, illuminating the entire hall. Lin Nan and the female agent squinted their eyes, trying to see everything clearly in the light. However, they were stunned by the scene before them. A figure walked out of the light, wearing a mysterious outfit and holding a weapon that shone with blue light. "This is..." Lin Nan opened his mouth wide and looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. "It's time mutants." The female agent's voice was full of surprise and vigilance. "They actually appeared here." Lin Nan's heart sank. He knew that the Time Mutants were a powerful and mysterious organization. They were good at using the power of time to carry out various conspiracies and plans. Their appearance means that this mission will face more severe challenges, and they must deal with it carefully to avoid falling into danger. "We must stop them," Lin Nan said loudly, his eyes shining with determination and perseverance. The female agent nodded. "Yes, we can't let them ruin our mission." She clenched the weapon in her hand, preparing for the next battle. Suddenly, they noticed a stranger appearing in the middle of the hall. He was wearing simple clothes and looked a little confused. The stranger looked around, obviously coming to this place for the first time, and very confused by his surroundings. "Look over there." The female agent's voice suddenly sounded, and she pointed at the stranger and said. Lin Nan immediately looked in the direction indicated and found that the stranger did not hold a task ticket in his hand, which made them feel very nervous. In this place, not having a task ticket means that you cannot participate in the task. This rule cannot be violated. "He doesn't have a mission ticket," Lin Nan said alertly, his voice full of tension and anxiety. The stranger seemed to realize his mistake. He hurriedly looked around for his task ticket, but he couldn't find it. There was a trace of panic and helplessness on his face, and he knew that he might pay a heavy price for this. At this moment, a bright light suddenly fell from the sky and shone on the stranger. He looked at the light in horror, but it was too late. His body began to disappear gradually, turning into a cloud of dust, and finally disappeared completely into the air. Lin Nan and the female agent were stunned. They witnessed this scene, and their hearts were filled with shock and fear. This method of punishment is so cruel and chilling. He disappeared. The female agent's voice trembled, and her eyes were full of fear. Lin Nan clenched his fists tightly, anger and unwillingness welling up in his heart. He understands that the world is not as peaceful and safe as it seems on the surface, but contains countless dangers and traps. In this place, once a mistake is made, the consequences will be disastrous. We must proceed with caution, Lin Nan said in a deep voice, his eyes firm and calm. The female agent nodded, knowing that the situation in front of her was very dangerous. Yes, we can't make any more mistakes, she said, her voice full of firmness and determination. Lin Nan felt a chill, and he understood that if he did not show the task ticket in time, he might suffer the same fate. He immediately reached into his pocket, fumbled to find his mission ticket, and hurriedly took it out. "This is my mission ticket," he shouted, holding the ticket in the air, hoping to attract attention. The female agent immediately turned around and saw the task ticket in Lin Nan's hand. A look of relief flashed in her eyes. "Quick, give me the ticket," she urged. Lin Nan quickly handed the task ticket to the female agent, feeling relieved a little from the tension in his heart. He knew that now he could only ensure his safety by handing over the task ticket to the female agent. The female agent took the task ticket and checked it carefully. After confirming that the task number and content were correct, she nodded with confidence. "Okay, everything is fine," she said, then put the task ticket into her pocket. Lin Nan breathed a sigh of relief and felt an indescribable sense of relief. He knew that he had successfully avoided a tragedy and could now continue his mission. Suddenly, a piercing alarm sounded from the device in the center of the hall, attracting everyone's attention. Lin Nan and the female agent immediately looked around alertly, looking for possible dangers. "What happened?" Lin Nan asked, his voice full of anxiety and worry. The female agent frowned, with a hint of uneasiness in her eyes. "I don't know, but we have to be careful," she said, holding the weapon in her hand tightly, ready to respond at any time. The device in the center of the hall suddenly emitted a dazzling light, illuminating the entire hall. Along with the light, a huge amount of space-time gate appeared in the center of the device. Lin Nan and the female agent stared at the scene in front of them dumbfounded, their hearts filled with shock and uneasiness. They know that the emergence of the space-time gate means that someone is trying to interfere with the timeline, which will bring huge amounts of risks and threats to the entire universe. "We must take action as soon as possible," Lin Nan said loudly, his voice full of determination and firmness. "The desert is roaring with wind and sand, the heat wave is rolling, and the world is filled with an ancient and mysterious atmosphere." Lin Nan stood in the desert, feeling the heat and dryness brought by the desert, his eyes flashing with ambition and desire. "This world will belong to me," Lin Nan's voice echoed in the desert, his eyes staring into the distance. However, at this moment, a powerful force suddenly emerged from the ground, distorting the space and splitting the desert into a huge amount of crack. A figure slowly walked out of the crack. He was wearing an ancient robe and a veil, exuding a mysterious atmosphere. "Who are you?" Lin Nan's voice was full of vigilance, and he felt the powerful energy of this mysterious man. The female agent nodded. "Yes, we can't let them succeed," she said, holding the weapon in her hand tightly, ready to face the next challenge. The cities on Lin Nan's continent breed different civilizations and super ability people. In this world, the strong are respected and the weak cannot survive. However, in this world full of challenges and dangers, there are also some heroes who rise up and take it as their duty to protect the weak and uphold justice. Lin Nan's story begins with a young man named Alan. He possesses the rare super ability, time manipulation. However, he knew nothing about his ability until an unexpected incident forced him to use his ability to save himself and his friends. With the passage of time, Alan gradually unveiled the veil of Lin Nan's world and discovered that his power came from the ancient mysterious energy. He is determined to use his ability to protect the peace and tranquility of Linen Continent and become a true hero. However, peace in Linen Continent is not all smooth sailing. A dark force is secretly controlling everything, trying to destroy the order of Lin Nan's world. The leader of this force is a powerful supernatural being named Anu. His goal is to rule the entire Linen Continent and plunge it into eternal darkness. In order to stop Anu's conspiracy, Alan must join forces with other super abilities to fight against the dark forces. They formed a team called Guardians to resist Anu's invasion and protect the peace of Linen Continent. In fierce battles, the Guardians continued to grow, learned to unite and cooperate, and defeated countless formidable enemies. However, they also know that the real challenge has just begun, and they must remain vigilant and ready to deal with new threats at any time. On the border of Linen Continent, a magnificent laboratory stands on a desolate land. The owner of this laboratory is a young and talented scientist named Wawa. She is one of the most outstanding scientists on Lin Nan Continent, and is good at studying various strange phenomena and technologies. In this laboratory, Wawa is concentrating on studying a new type of energy, which is called space-time energy. It is said that if you master the secret of time and space energy, you can travel through time and space, and even change the direction of history. Wawa sat in front of her experimental table, holding an ancient slate filled with strange symbols in her hand. She focused her eyes on the stone slab and tried to decipher the ancient writings. There is a mysterious atmosphere permeating the laboratory, as if time originally stood still here. I think we are close to a breakthrough, Wawa whispered to herself. Her assistants were watching quietly, confident in her research. Suddenly, the walls of the laboratory began to tremble and the ground began to tremble. Wawa and her assistants stood up one after another and looked around cautiously. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning-like light flashed across the sky, and a mysterious figure appeared at the door of the laboratory. "Are you Wawa?" The voice of the visitor was low and majestic, with an air of no doubt. Wawa frowned, feeling a little confused about this sudden intruder. "Yes, I am. Who are you? How did you break into my laboratory?" she asked. The mysterious figure walked into the laboratory and revealed a familiar face. He was a technology giant named Stark, who was world famous for his ingenuity and leadership ability. "My name is Tony Stark, and I am a member of the Avengers. We need your help," he said, with a determined light in his eyes. Wawa frowned. "Reunion, what do you want from me?" Tony Stark walked up to Wawa and said seriously, "We have discovered a new threat, a dark force that is threatening the security of the entire universe. We need your help. Use your time travel technology, help we seek and defeat this dark force." After hearing Tony's words, Wawa's eyes flashed with shock. She knew that if this dark force spread, the entire universe would be in danger of destruction. She nodded without hesitation. "Okay, I will do my best to help you." Thus, Wawa and the members of the Avengers embarked on an adventure across time and space. They traveled through different eras and spaces, looking for traces of the dark power, and launched fierce confrontations with various dangers and challenges. In this adventure, they experienced countless dangers and challenges, but they also discovered the trust and friendship between them. They support each other, face unprecedented threats together, and are determined to defend the peace and tranquility of the universe. Wawa and the members of the Avengers gathered together and decided to use time travel technology to go back to the past and collect the infinite gems scattered in the universe. These gems are considered to be the source of the dark power. Only by collecting them can the dark power be completely destroyed. They came to a place full of ancient ruins, where a gem was said to be hidden. However, it is full of dangers, and ancient traps and guardians make their task extremely difficult. "We have to be careful and don't take it lightly," Tony Stark warned, his eyes looking around, ready to respond to possible threats. Wawa nodded, and she took out a time-traveling device that shimmered with light. She adjusted the equipment, trying to find the best time to travel to the era where the gem was. "Okay, everything is ready," Wawa announced. "Let's set off now." Everyone gathered together, followed Wawa's guidance, and traveled to the ancient era together. After a period of dizziness, they found themselves in a mysterious and ancient world. This world is full of mystery, and ancient buildings and sculptures exude a mysterious light. They walked carefully through the ruins, not daring to be careless. His eyes stared at the tesseract, and a dark energy lingered around him, as if heralding the coming of darkness. Under his control, the tesseract emitted a dazzling light that enveloped the entire base. Lin Nan's power became stronger and stronger, and his voice resounded throughout the space, making everything tremble. After Lin Nan possessed the tesseract, he was no longer controlled by anyone or anything, and his power became unrivaled. He used the tesseract to open a crack, traveled through time and space, and came to a desert. Suddenly, lightning-like rays of light appeared in front of them, shuttling between the ancient buildings like electricity. This is an ancient trap, and anyone who comes into contact with these lights will be fatally attacked. Be careful, avoid the light, Wawa shouted loudly. She quickly adjusted the time traveler, trying to find a way to break through the trap. Everyone avoided the flickering light, but the trap's attack became more and more fierce. Tony Stark used his technological equipment to resist the trap attacks and buy time for others. I found a way to crack it, Wawa suddenly shouted. She adjusted the time traveler and set it to the same frequency as the trap. In a flash of lightning, she successfully manipulated the flow of time, rendering the trap's attack ineffective. Everyone took the opportunity to rush through the trap area and came to where the gem was. On a mysterious altar, a gem that shines with strange light is placed. This is the gem we are looking for. Wawa's eyes flashed with excitement, and she reached out and gently touched the surface of the gem. However, at this moment, a powerful energy suddenly emerged and enveloped everyone. A representative of the dark forces appeared in front of them, holding a sharp weapon in his hand and a cold light shining in his eyes. Who are you? The representative of the dark forces asked coldly, his voice full of majesty and warning. We are here to protect the universe. Wawa replied without fear, your dark plan is destined to fail. The representative of the dark forces sneered, waving the weapon in his hand and releasing a violent energy. Everyone rose up to resist and started a fierce battle. Among the ancient ruins, light and darkness are intertwined, and the flames of war are burning. Wawa and her companions fought bravely and vowed to completely defeat this dark force. However, the representative of the dark forces showed amazing strength. His attacks became more and more fierce, and everyone gradually fell into a disadvantage. We have to find a way, Wawa shouted loudly, mobilizing all her strength to try to find the weakness of the dark forces. The appearance of the mysterious figure plunged the scene into a tense atmosphere. His figure looked particularly majestic in the dim ancient tomb, like a messenger from an unknown world. Who are you? Where are you from? Tony Stark asked warily, his eyes firmly fixed on the mysterious figure. The mysterious figure slowly walked up to everyone, his eyes were deep and mysterious. I am an observer from ancient times. I have witnessed the birth and destruction of the universe. Hearing these words, Wawa and others couldn't help but feel shocked. As an observer in ancient times, it is impossible to imagine how many years of vicissitudes he has experienced. Do you know our mission here? Wawa asked, trying to find out the true intention of the observer. The observer smiled slightly and said mysteriously, I know your mission. You are here to collect infinite gems to stop the conspiracy of the dark forces. Everyone couldn't help but be stunned. They didn't understand how the observer knew about their plan. However, they were secretly glad that perhaps this observer could help them. We need your help, Wawa said, her voice full of sincerity. We must destroy the dark forces and save the universe. The observer was silent for a while, his eyes scanning the crowd. Your mission is noble, but you also need to know that the power of the dark forces is far more powerful than you think. His words made everyone's hearts sink. They knew that facing the challenge of the dark forces was not easy. However, they also know that they must face it bravely, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous. We are willing to take risks, Tony Stark said firmly. We will make every effort to protect the peace of the universe. The observer nodded, with a hint of appreciation in his eyes. Very good, your courage deserves respect. I am willing to help you. So Wawa and her companions started an adventure with the observers. They travel through time and space, collect infinite gems scattered in the universe, and work hard to resist the threat of dark forces. At the same time, the Dark Forces plan is also in progress. They sent a huge army in an attempt to invade the Earth and seize the resources and power there. However, humans on Earth will not sit idly by. They organized and launched a fierce confrontation with the dark forces. A magnificent war has begun on the Earth. In this war, mankind and the army of dark forces launched a desperate struggle. Cities were destroyed and people were forced to flee their homes, but they did not flinch. They firmly defended their homes and future. The forces of darkness are fierce and powerful, but humans are not alone. They unite together, help each other, and jointly resist alien invaders. Under the baptism of war, human beings showed amazing courage and strength. They used their lives to defend freedom and justice and fight for peace on Earth. However, the Dark Forces' plan did not go smoothly. Although they are powerful, they did not expect that the humans on Earth are so tenacious. Attack after attack was successfully defeated by humans, and the Dark Forces gradually fell into trouble. In the endless battle, the Dark Forces' plan finally failed. They were forced to retreat, and peace was maintained on Earth. Humanity has won this battle of life and death with its own courage and unity. However, that doesn't mean it's over. The shadows of dark forces still lurk in the corners of the universe, and their conspiracies may reappear at any time. Humanity must remain vigilant and ready to face new challenges at any time. When the Dark Forces' plans failed, their leaders fell into despair and anger. They realized that their plan has failed completely and they have been defeated by humans and the Avengers heroes. At the same time, Lin Nan has returned to his secret base. He is holding the Tesseract and feeling the endless power surging within his body. He knew that now was the time to launch his plan to harness the power of the Tesseract to rule the universe and bend everything to his will. Everything will belong to me. Lin Nan roared, his voice full of arrogance and ambition. Now, it is time to start my journey. In a secret base, the top leaders of the Dark Forces are holding an emergency meeting. Their leaders gathered together with gloomy faces and a solemn atmosphere. We can't just surrender like this. One of the leaders said angrily, we must find a way to escape, reorganize our troops, and take revenge on those humans and Avengers heroes. However, our base has been discovered by them, and our troops have been defeated. Another leader said bitterly, it is impossible to escape now. Are we going to admit defeat like this? Another leader shouted angrily, we are dark forces, and we cannot be defeated like this. Just as they were falling into despair, a subordinate hurriedly walked into the conference room and reported in a panic, leaders, the Avengers heroes have found our base and they are coming here. The leaders looked at each other, knowing that they had no chance of escape. They decided to make a last-ditch effort and start a final battle with the Avengers heroes. At this moment, the team of Avengers heroes has arrived at the base of the Dark Forces. Their leader, Tony Stark, led the team with a determined light in his eyes. Are you ready? Tony Stark asked, his voice full of determination and strength. Ready, the other heroes replied in unison, fearless and ready to face this decisive battle. The heroes of the Avengers rushed into the base of the Dark Forces and started a fierce battle. The leaders of the Dark Forces have shown great strength, and they desperately fought against the heroes. The battle was extremely fierce, with fire and sword shadows intertwined, and explosions continued to sound. The heroes of the Avengers and the leaders of the Dark Forces launched a life and death battle. Both sides refused to show weakness and tried their best. These humans, they are so tenacious, roared a leader of the Dark Forces, his figure dancing wildly on the battlefield, releasing powerful energy. We can't be defeated by them like this. Another leader also shouted loudly, waving the weapon in his hand and launching a fierce attack. At the same time, the heroes of the Avengers are not to be outdone. They are united and cooperate with each other. Although they face powerful enemies, they still move forward firmly and are determined to defeat the forces of darkness. During the battle, the leaders of the Dark Forces gradually fell into a disadvantage. Although they are powerful, they cannot withstand their offensive in the face of the unity and courage of the Avengers heroes. In the end, the Avengers heroes successfully defeated the leaders of the Dark Forces, and they were captured and handcuffed. Their plan failed completely and they will face severe punishment. After winning this decisive battle, the Avengers heroes cheered for their victory. They know that although the shadow of dark forces still exists, they have shown the strength and courage of mankind, and they are confident that they will maintain the peace of the universe. Deep in the Avengers building, Tony Stark's footsteps are light but firm. He shuttled through the corridors of the building, always alert to the movements around him. As Iron Man, he knows that his mission is very dangerous, but he also understands that only through such actions can the peace of the universe be protected. He quietly came to an important room door. Behind the door was the Tesseract, a powerful mysterious object that can control the energy in the universe. This is a treasure that the dark forces are eager to obtain, and it is also an important item guarded by the Avengers heroes. Tony Stark adjusted his equipment and prepared himself to face any challenge that might arise. He took a deep breath, reached out and gently pushed open the door. The room was dark, with only a faint light coming from the control panel on the wall. Tony Stark cautiously entered the room, his eyes fixed on the location of the Tesseract. However, just as he was approaching the Tesseract, suddenly, a sharp voice broke the silence. "Iron Man, you came at the right time." Tony Stark was startled and immediately looked around alertly. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness, holding a weapon that shone with cold light, and his eyes revealed hostility. Loki. Tony Stark recognized the person. He knew that this was an important member of the Dark Forces and a powerful enemy of the Avengers heroes. "Yes, it's me," Loki sneered. "Do you think you can take the Tesseract easily? You are too naive." Tony Stark faced Loki with firm and calm eyes. "I will take the Tesseract, no matter what the cost," he said. "The peace of the universe cannot be destroyed." Loki smiled sarcastically. "Do you think you can deal with me alone? You underestimate me, Iron Man." The two people's eyes intertwined in the room, and the atmosphere instantly became extremely tense. Suddenly, Loki brandished his weapon and launched a violent attack. Tony Stark dodges Loki's attacks while keeping an eye on the Tesseract, knowing that a slight inadvertence could lead to the failure of the entire plan. "You will never defeat me," Loki roared, his attacks becoming more and more fierce. "I will destroy everything and plunge this universe into eternal darkness." Tony Stark said nothing, his entire attention focused on the battle and the Tesseract. He knew that only by bringing the Tesseract back to the Federal Building could he stop the Dark Forces conspiracy. The battle lasted for a while, and both sides showed amazing strength and skills. However, Tony Stark is Iron Man after all. He not only possesses powerful technological equipment, but also has tenacious will and courage. In the end, during a fierce confrontation, Tony Stark seized the opportunity and drove Loki back. He quickly grabbed the Tesseract and turned to leave the room. "You win this time, Iron Man." Loki's voice sounded behind him, "but the power of the Dark Forces is far more powerful than you imagine, and we will eventually defeat you." A chaotic fight quickly broke out in the corridors of the Avengers building. The confrontation between Iron Man Tony Stark and Loki, a member of the Dark Forces, was extremely fierce, and other Avengers heroes also launched a desperate struggle with the men of the Dark Forces. "We must stop them." Captain America's voice resounded on the battlefield. He waved the shield in his hand and led the Avengers heroes in a fierce battle with members of the Dark Forces. "Don't let them get close to the Tesseract." Black Widow's figure shuttled flexibly across the battlefield, her hands flashing with cold daggers, constantly repelling the attacks of the Dark Forces. On the other side of the battlefield, Thor and Hulk teamed up to fight against a group of Dark Warriors. Their power is endless, and every swing can destroy any obstacle. "Come on, let me see your true strength," Hulk roared as he waved huge amounts of fists and launched devastating attacks. At the same time, members of the Dark Forces also showed amazing strength. Their fighting skills are as sharp blades, and every attack is full of destructive power. "Don't let them get close to the Tesseract." Loki's voice echoed on the battlefield, holding a sharp weapon and constantly releasing energy. The confrontation between Iron Man Tony Stark and Loki was extremely fierce. The figures of the two people shuttled quickly across the battlefield, releasing powerful energy with every collision. "You will never be able to stop our plans," Loki growled, his eyes flashing coldly. "We will do everything we can," Tony Stark said firmly, his figure flying across the battlefield, constantly dodging Loki's attacks. The battle lasted for a while, and both sides showed amazing strength and perseverance. However, with the unity and efforts of the Avengers heroes, the members of the Dark Forces gradually fell into a disadvantage. "We cannot fail," Captain America shouted loudly, waving the shield in his hand and leading the Avengers heroes to move forward. "Destroy them." Black Widow's voice sounded on the battlefield, the dagger in her hand flashed with cold light, and she kept slashing at the members of the Dark Forces. In the fierce dispute of the battle, an unexpected event happened. Lin Nan, who was not the original member of the Avengers, found an opportunity on the edge of the battlefield. He was close to the center of the battle, hiding in a dark corner, and witnessed the confrontation between Iron Man and Loki. Although Lin Nan is not good at fighting, he knows that if the dark forces obtain the Tesseract, the consequences will be disastrous. During a brief interval during a battle, Lin Nan's eyes caught a glimpse of the Tesseract, which was left on the ground by a dark forces men. Lin Nan's heart moved, and he realized that he had the opportunity to seize the Tesseract and take it away to stop the conspiracy of the dark forces. Amidst the chaos, Lin Nan acted quickly. He dodged attacks on the battlefield and deftly approached the Tesseract. He reached out and gently picked up this mysterious item. This is the Tesseract. Lin Nan was shocked. He could feel the mysterious energy it exuded. However, just as Lin Nan was about to escape, a member of the dark forces noticed his actions. "Stop!" the member shouted loudly and rushed towards Lin Nan. Lin Nan's heart tightened, and he knew he had to escape from here as soon as possible. "I must take the Tesseract," he said to himself, full of determination. He turned around quickly and ran away in the direction of escape. The fighting continued around him, but he had completely focused on escaping. "Catch him!" The members of the dark forces chased him one after another. They were unwilling to let Lin Nan escape their control. Lin Nan ran hard, and the noise and footsteps of the pursuing soldiers came from behind. He knew he had to escape as soon as possible, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. He ran through the corridor, past the Avengers heroes in battle, and ran. His heart beat rapidly, but he did not flinch, because he knew that the fate of the universe depended on his actions. Finally, Lin Nan rushed out of the door of the Avengers building, breathing heavily and holding the Tesseract tightly in his hand. He knew that his mission was not completed yet, and he must find a safe way to preserve this treasure in order to stop the conspiracy of the dark forces. He quickly fled towards a remote place, trying to avoid the sight of his pursuers. He ran along the street. The scenery around him seemed to blur, but he did not stop, because he knew that he could not rest assured until he found a safe hiding place. Behind an abandoned building, Lin Nan found a hidden corner. He carefully hid the Tesseract, ensuring it would not be discovered. Lin Nan hurried to an unfamiliar desert, and he realized that this was a place far away from the fighting and commotion, suitable for hiding the Tesseract and safely considering the next move. The sun has gradually set in the west, and the sunset glows red over the entire sky, giving the desert a golden glow. The wind in the desert howled by, bringing with it a hot breath, but Lin Nan was not disturbed by this. He knew that he had to act as soon as possible. It should be safe here, Lin Nan said to himself, and he began to look for a suitable place to hide the Tesseract. He looked around and eventually found a secluded cave that looked perfect for hiding treasure. He walked carefully into the cave, making sure no one was following him. The interior of the cave is dark and dry, and the walls are covered with rock textures, giving people an ancient and mysterious feeling. Lin Nan walked deep into the cave and placed the Tesseract in a hidden corner. He observed it carefully, filled with awe. This mysterious item has infinite power and can affect the fate of the entire universe. "I must protect it," Lin Nan vowed secretly in his heart. He knew that he was carrying a heavy responsibility, but he was willing to bear it because he believed that he could do it. At this moment, a strange voice suddenly sounded in the cave. "The Tesseract has finally been found." Lin Nan was startled and immediately looked around alertly. He saw a figure quietly appearing at the entrance of the cave, with a pair of deep eyes shining with mysterious light. "Who are you?" Lin Nan asked, his voice full of vigilance. The figure slowly approached, revealing a familiar yet unfamiliar face. He is a man wearing ancient clothes who seems to come from the distant past. "I am the ancient guardian," the man said. "I once guarded the Tesseract until it disappeared." Lin Nan's eyes widened. He didn't expect to meet a guardian in such a remote place. "Why are you here?" he asked. "I have been searching for the whereabouts of the Tesseract," the guardian explained. "Now that I have found it, I will resume my duties." Lin Nan's heart moved, and he knew that he could not let the Tesseract fall into the hands of strangers. "I have to protect it," he said firmly. "I won't let anyone hurt it." The guardian stared at Lin Nan, and he seemed to be able to feel the determination in Lin Nan's heart. "You are a brave man," he said, "but the power of the Tesseract is beyond your imagination. Can you withstand it?" Lin Nan was silent for a moment, then nodded. "I will do my part," he said, "because it is vital to the peace of the universe." The guardian nodded silently, knowing that he could not stop Lin Nan. He turned and left the cave, disappearing into the night. On the edge of the desert, several Mongolian nomads were walking leisurely. They wore traditional robes and wide-brimmed hats, and had resolute faces, exuding a rugged atmosphere. As they approached the cave, their eyes fell on Lin Nan. Lin Nan stood quietly at the entrance of the cave, staring into the distance intently, as if thinking about something. The nomads stopped and looked at the stranger curiously. They exchanged some low-pitched discussions, trying to guess Lin Nan's identity and origin. "Where did you come from?" asked a tall nomad, his voice hoarse and deep. Lin Nan turned his head, faced them, and smiled. "I'm just a traveler," he replied. "I'm lost in the desert." The nomads exchanged some meaningful looks with each other, and seemed not to completely believe Lin Nan's words. However, they did not express doubts and continued to observe his every move. "Are you here alone?" asked another nomad, his brows slightly furrowed, obviously confused about Lin Nan's situation. Lin Nan nodded. "Yes, I am looking for some treasures," he said. "I heard that there is a mysterious treasure in this desert, and I want to find it." After hearing Lin Nan's words, the nomads' eyes flashed with surprise. They are no strangers to the secrets of this desert and know that there are many ancient legends and treasures hidden here. "Treasure," a nomad murmured softly, "this desert does hide many secrets." Lin Nan saw that the nomads seemed to be interested in the treasure, so he tried to get closer to them. "Perhaps we can search together," he suggested. "After all, some people say that the treasures in this desert will bring endless wealth and power." The nomads were silent for a moment, exchanging glances with each other, as if considering Lin Nan's proposal. In the end, they nodded and expressed their willingness to cooperate with Lin Nan. "Okay, let's search for the treasures in this desert together," said a nomad, "but you must follow us and obey our commands." Lin Nan felt happy, knowing that he had a new partner who could help him find the tesseract and protect it. He nodded in agreement. So Lin Nan embarked on a treasure hunting journey with the Mongolian nomads. They crossed deserts and hills. The journey was full of difficulties and challenges, but they were all full of determination and courage. During this journey, Lin Nan gradually established a deep friendship with the Mongolian nomads. They trusted each other and supported each other, and experienced many difficulties and challenges in the process of searching for the treasure. However, as they approached their destination, a powerful force suddenly appeared in the desert. A dazzling light cut through the night sky, as if announcing that some major event was about to happen. On their way across the desert with the Mongolian nomads, Lin Nan came to a highland. Standing on this high point, you can overlook the entire desert scenery, and the endless yellow sand shines with golden light in the sun. Lin Nan felt a sense of pride and decided to introduce himself on this highland to show his identity and origin to the Mongolian nomads. "Friends." Lin Nan stood on the high ground, facing the Mongolian nomads gathered around him, his voice echoed in the desert. "I am Lin Nan, a traveler from a distant planet." The nomads opened their eyes wide and looked at Lin Nan curiously. They had never met anyone like Lin Nan, a traveler from a distant planet, which surprised them. "I came to this desert to find an ancient treasure," Lin Nan continued. "The tesseract has infinite power and can affect the fate of the entire universe." Hearing the name tesseract, the nomads' eyes flashed with excitement. They knew the importance of this treasure and understood Lin Nan's mission. "I once fought against evil forces on other planets in order to protect the peace of the universe." Lin Nan's voice was calm and firm. "Now, the tesseract appears in front of me again. I must protect it and stop those who try to use it to people who harm the universe." The nomads listened to Lin Nan's words attentively. They were deeply infected by Lin Nan's mission and felt his determination and courage. "We will support you with all our strength," one of the nomads said. "The power of the tesseract is beyond our imagination, but as long as you are here, we will be with you." Other nomads agreed, and they were willing to work with Lin Nan to find the tesseract and protect it from evil forces. Lin Nan felt happy. He felt that he was not alone. With this group of powerful partners, he believed that he would be able to complete his mission and protect the peace of the universe. So, Lin Nan and the Mongolian nomads continued their journey across the desert to explore the whereabouts of the tesseract. The friendship and trust between them become deeper and deeper, and everyone works hard for the common goal. During the challenge, Lin Nan and the mysterious man discovered that a huge amount of TV screen appeared on the wall of the room. An animated short film was playing on the TV screen, telling the origin of TVA. In the picture, a mysterious creator created timekeepers, who are the guardians of time and reality in the universe. The Time Guardians possess infinite wisdom and power, and their mission is to maintain the stability of the timeline and protect the universe from the chaos of time. As time goes by, various phenomena of space-time chaos and time bifurcation appear in the universe. The timekeepers realized they needed an organization to manage and oversee these issues, so they created the TVA. TVA's mission is to protect the integrity of the timeline and prevent space-time chaos and time bifurcation. They maintain the stability of the universe through various means, including collecting invalid branches and managing time crimes. In the animated short film, Lin Nan and the mysterious man saw the establishment process of TVA and their working methods. They discovered that TVA's work is so important and arduous, and requires constant efforts and dedication to protect the peace and order of the universe. Lin Nan and the mysterious man were full of respect and gratitude for TVA. They realized that although TVA's work was not widely known, their presence was vital to the stability and security of the universe. This is the origin of TVA. The mysterious man said, they are the guardians of the universe, and their mission is to maintain the stability of the timeline. Lin Nan nodded. He deeply understood the importance of TVA. We should respect their work, he said, because they protect our world in obscurity. After the animated short film ended, the room fell into silence. Lin Nan and the mysterious man were both lost in thought. They were deeply shocked by the diversity of the universe and the cosmic war shown in the animation. It seems that the history of the universe is not as peaceful as we thought. Lin Nan finally broke the silence, his voice carrying a hint of solemnity. The mysterious man nodded. Yes, the history of the universe is full of wars and chaos. In countless cosmic wars, people have almost destroyed everything in order to fight for control. Lin Nan's eyes flashed with thought. So how did TVA deal with this situation? The mysterious man smiled slightly. TVA's mission is to prevent this from happening again. They fundamentally maintain the peace and stability of the universe by managing the timeline and preventing the chaos of space and time. Lin Nan took a deep breath and understood the importance of TVA. What we need to do is not only protect the present, but also protect the future. He said, we cannot let the universe fall into war and chaos again. The mysterious man nodded in agreement. It is precisely because of this that we must unswervingly carry out our mission and protect the integrity and stability of the timeline. The conversation between the two was full of a sense of responsibility and mission, and they knew that they shouldered the future of the universe. Although they face many difficulties and challenges, they are willing to work tirelessly for the peace and security of the universe. In the corner of the room, a bright light began to appear, and then three mysterious figures in gorgeous costumes slowly appeared. Their figures are tall and straight, like gods who dominate time and space. Lin Nan and the mysterious man immediately felt their presence, and their appearance filled the whole room with solemnity and solemnity. Guardian of Time, Lin Nan whispered softly, with a solemn expression. They're finally here. The mysterious man also looked at them nervously. We must deal with it carefully. The three Time Guardians walked towards the center of the room, with a detached look in their eyes, as if they held the secrets of the universe. Who are you? Lin Nan stepped forward and asked. One of the Guardians of Time, a mysterious figure with a golden halo, slowly said, we are the Guardians of the universe and the Defenders of Time. We have seen your actions. You are trying to change the timeline. This is intolerable. Quote. Lin Nan and the mysterious man exchanged a look, and they knew what a powerful existence they were facing. We have no ill intentions, we just want to save the universe. Lin Nan tried to explain. Another one of the Time Guardians, a mysterious figure in silver attire, said calmly, save the universe. Your actions may bring greater disasters. The stability of the timeline is our responsibility. But the current timeline is unfair. The mysterious man said eagerly, we must do something. The third Guardian of Time, a mysterious figure with flowing robes, finally spoke, what you said is true, but we cannot tolerate any changes in the timeline. We will sort out the diversity of the universe and synthesize it into one main timeline. Lin Nan and the mysterious man looked at each other, and they understood the intention of the Time Guardian. Although their actions were well-intentioned, in the eyes of the Time Guardians, they were interference and destruction of the timeline. Please don't stop us, Lin Nan pleaded, we just want to save the universe. The Time Guardians were silent for a while, as if thinking about something. Finally, the golden haloed Time Guardian spoke. We will allow you to continue your actions, but remember that the stability of the timeline is our responsibility. Lin Nan and the mysterious man were relieved. They knew that although the Time Guardian did not agree with their actions, at least they would not stop them. We will proceed with caution, Lin Nan said solemnly, thank you. With the intervention of the Timekeepers, the universe's multiple timelines were consolidated into one main timeline. However, in order to maintain the stability of this timeline, they realized that a more powerful organization was needed to monitor and manage the timeline of the universe. So, they decided to create an organization called TVA, Time Variation Authority. TVA's mission is to monitor the multiple timelines of the universe, prevent space-time chaos and time bifurcation, and maintain the stability of the main timeline. Lin Nan and the mysterious man were taken to the headquarters of TVA, which is a large and magnificent building located in the center of the universe and possesses unparalleled technology and power. When they stepped into the lobby of TVA, they were immediately shocked by the scene around them. Huge amounts of projection walls display multiple timelines of the universe, with various colors and lines intertwined to form a complex and spectacular picture. This is the headquarters of TVA, the mysterious man said, with awe in his voice. Lin Nan looked around carefully. He could feel that this place was full of infinite power and wisdom. It's incredible here, he exclaimed. They were directed into a huge amount of control room, which is the core area of TVA. The tall console in the control room is covered with various buttons and screens, and the staff are busy operating these devices. This is the command center of TVA. The mysterious man explained. All timeline monitoring and management are completed here. Lin Nan and the mysterious man were taken to a conference room where many senior officials and experts from TVA had gathered. Welcome to TVA, Lin Nan and the mysterious man. A uniformed TVA official came forward. We have understood your mission, and we will fully support your actions. Lin Nan and the mysterious man thanked them and then began discussions with TVA officials. They need to formulate a detailed action plan to ensure that they can successfully save the universe. We must act as soon as possible, the mysterious man said. The stability of the timeline is increasingly threatened, and we cannot wait any longer. TVA officials nodded in agreement, knowing that only through joint efforts can the peace and security of the universe be maintained. With the establishment of TVA, they immediately began to severely punish those who moved around the multi-universe and destroyed the timeline. These criminals are called time mutants. Their actions not only endanger the stability of the universe, but may also cause unpredictable consequences. Under the supervision of TVA, the timelines of each universe have been effectively controlled, and the phenomenon of space-time chaos and time bifurcation has been greatly reduced. Those time mutants who dared to challenge TVA's authority were quickly hunted down and punished. Lin Nan and the mysterious man became important members of TVA, and they actively participated in the maintenance of the timeline and the pursuit of criminals. They travel through different universes to track down and capture criminals who are trying to destroy the timeline. During one operation, they tracked down a criminal who was trying to exploit the chaos of the timeline for personal gain. This criminal possesses a powerful time mutation ability. He constantly travels between different universes in an attempt to escape TVA's pursuit. Lin Nan and the mysterious man chased him, and they went through a fierce pursuit battle. Traveling through different universes, they continue to face various dangers and challenges, but they are determined to bring this criminal to justice. In the end, in a dark universe, they cornered the criminals. During a fierce battle, Lin Nan and the mysterious man worked together to subdue the criminal and hand him over to TVA officials. Your crimes will be punished, the mysterious man said seriously. You cannot escape the punishment of the law. The criminal gritted his teeth, but he knew he could no longer escape. He was taken back to TVA's headquarters, where severe trial and punishment awaited him. When Lin Nan and the Mongolian nomads continued to move forward, suddenly, a group of people wearing dazzling uniforms appeared in the distance of the desert. They approached quickly. The marching team was neat and uniform, and their steps were orderly and steady. The words, TVA, are clearly printed on the uniforms of these personnel, which is the logo of the Time Variation Administration. They are the agency responsible for supervising the timeline and usually do not easily intervene in external events, so their appearance is surprising. Lin Nan and the Mongolian nomads stopped and watched the sudden appearance of this group of people with vigilance. They didn't know why TVA appeared here, and they were full of doubts. A senior official from TVA walked up to Lin Nan, his expression serious and solemn. "You are Lin Nan," he said with a steady and powerful voice. Lin Nan nodded. "Yes, I am Lin Nan." He replied, "Are you from TVA?" The official nodded. "I am a representative of TVA, and we have received information about you." He said, "You are carrying the Tesseract, and this matter has attracted our attention." Lin Nan frowned, feeling wary. "Why is TVA interested in me?" he asked. "Does the Tesseract matter have anything to do with you?" The official shook his head. "The Tesseract matter has nothing to do with us," he explained, "but your actions have affected the stability of the timeline, and this is what we are concerned about." Lin Nan's heart moved, and he understood TVA's intention. "You are here to interfere with my actions," he said, "but I am only looking for the Tesseract to protect the peace of the universe." The official was silent for a moment, then continued, "We need to take you to TVA headquarters to review your actions and ensure the stability of the timeline." Lin Nan frowned. He was unwilling to give up his mission. "I can't leave here," he said firmly. "The safety of the Tesseract is more important than anything else." The official's eyes were firm, and he knew he had to complete the task. "You have no choice," he said. "You must come with us." Lin Nan felt anxious, knowing that he might not be able to avoid TVA's interference. However, he is unwilling to give up and must find a way to protect the Tesseract and continue his mission. At this tense moment, the Mongolian nomads were also eager to confront TVA personnel. They stood beside Lin Nan and expressed their support and trust in him. "We will go forward with you," said one nomad. "No matter what happens, we will never give up." Lin Nan felt the strength and courage from his partners, and he knew he was not alone. He decided to continue to defend the Tesseract and stop the evil Foss's conspiracy no matter what. Facing the arrival of TVA, the situation became increasingly tense for Lin Nan and the Mongolian nomads. They are in the desert, and the arrival of TVA means they must face greater challenges to protect the Tesseract and maintain their mission. "We can't let them take Lin Nan away," a nomad whispered, his eyes shining with determination. Other nomads also expressed support. They knew that TVA's interference might bring them more trouble, but they were willing to take risks and stand with Lin Nan to resist the erosion of evil forces. Lin Nan felt the support of his partners and felt a warmth in his heart. He knows that he is no longer alone. With these brave partners, he is confident to overcome any difficulties and complete his mission. "We must fight back," Lin Nan said, his voice firm and powerful. "TVA is not our opponent, we have enough power to defeat them." The Mongolian nomads nodded when they heard this, and they were ready to start a fierce confrontation with TVA. They took their time to assume a defensive posture, preparing for the arrival of the enemy. TVA staff couldn't help but feel nervous when they saw the attitude of Lin Nan and the nomads. They know it will be a tough battle, but they must complete the mission, no matter what. "We have no time to waste," a TVA official said, his tone cold and firm. "Capture Lin Nan and take away the Tesseract." TVA personnel began to approach Lin Nan and the nomads. They were armed with advanced weapons and showed strong combat effectiveness. Lin Nan and the nomads stood closely together, preparing to face the enemy's attack. The atmosphere in the desert became tense, and a fierce duel was about to begin. Suddenly, a powerful wave of energy came from afar, distorting the timeline and making the entire desert tremble. TVA staff, Lin Nan, and the nomads all felt the arrival of this power and couldn't help but be surprised. As the energy fluctuations increased, a dazzling light descended from the sky, like a meteor streaking across the night sky, illuminating the entire desert. Everyone looked up and saw a figure walking out of the light. He was wearing a gorgeous robe, a gorgeous crown on his head, and holding a staff that shone with mysterious light. This is... Lin Nan's heart moved, and he recognized the identity of that figure. He was a Time Lord, a mysterious existence that controlled time and space. The Time Lord walked slowly between Lin Nan and the TVA staff. His eyes scanned the crowd, revealing a detached air. What are you doing here? The Time Lord's voice came, carrying an indescribable majesty. The TVA staff looked at the Time Lord in surprise. They didn't know he would appear here, and they couldn't help but feel a little fear in their hearts. Lin Nan and the nomads were also shocked. They did not expect that the Time Lord would appear in person, which means that this confrontation may have a greater impact. The Time Lord looked around, his eyes resting on Lin Nan. You took the Tesseract and disrupted the balance of the timeline, he said. This is an unforgivable act. Lin Nan's heart moved, and he knew he had to explain it clearly to the Time Lord. I'm just trying to protect the Tesseract, he said. I have no other choice. The Time Lord was silent for a moment, and then said, the power of the Tesseract should not have fallen into the wrong hands, but your actions have also caused chaos in the timeline. Lin Nan's heart trembled, and he knew he had made a mistake. I am willing to accept punishment, he said, but please allow me to continue to fulfill my mission. The Time Lord pondered for a moment and finally nodded. Okay, you can move on, he said, but I will send someone to supervise your actions to ensure the stability of the timeline. Lin Nan nodded gratefully. He knew that he had been forgiven by the Time Lord, but he also realized that his responsibility was even greater. When Lin Nan and the Mongolian nomads continued to move forward, suddenly, a female captain wearing a TVA uniform walked towards them. Her eyes were sharp and she was obviously an experienced warrior. Lin Nan, you have to stop. The female captain's voice was full of command, and she was holding a gleaming stick. Lin Nan stopped and stared at the female captain, feeling wary. He knew that this woman was a senior member of TVA and should not be underestimated. You can't stop me, Lin Nan said calmly, I have my own mission. The female captain frowned. The existence of the Tesseract has serious consequences for the timeline, she said. You must hand it over. Lin Nan shook his head. I can't do this, he said firmly. The power of the Tesseract must be used to protect the peace of the universe. The female captain sneered. Do you think you are qualified to make such a decision? She said, you are a traveler and do not deserve such huge amounts of power. Lin Nan felt angry, but he knew now was not the time to argue. I'm not going to give up, he said. No matter how you try to stop me, I'm going to keep going. As soon as he finished speaking, the female captain quickly waved the stick in her hand and violently attacked Lin Nan. Lin Nan dodged alertly, but the speed and strength of the female captain far exceeded his imagination. Lin Nan dodged several attacks, but the female captain got closer and closer to him, and he felt a little helpless. He knew he had to find a way to break away from her and move on. At this moment, a Mongolian nomad saw this and bravely rushed towards the female captain, trying to stop her attack. However, the female captain easily knocked him to the ground and continued to approach Lin Nan. Lin Nan's heart tightened, and he knew he had to take action. He quickly dodged the female captain's attack, then snatched the stick from her hand and waved it hard. The female captain was startled by Lin Nan's sudden counterattack, but quickly came to her senses and started a fierce fight with Lin Nan. They were spinning around in the desert, coming and going, and their every move was fatal. In the fierce duel, Lin Nan gradually felt exhausted, but the female captain seemed to be unscathed, and her attacks became more and more fierce. Just when Lin Nan was about to make the final counterattack, the female captain suddenly took out a strange collar and quickly put it around Lin Nan's neck. Lin Nan felt a powerful energy coming from the collar. His body suddenly stiffened and he was unable to move. He was horrified to find that this collar could control time and make him unable to move. What did you do? Lin Nan asked in a difficult tone, feeling that he had lost his freedom. Lin Nan felt a panic. He knew that he was in an extremely dangerous situation. Being restrained by this time control collar, he could hardly move, and a feeling of powerlessness filled his heart. The female captain smiled with satisfaction when she saw Lin Nan being captured without any effort. You should understand by now that you can't compete with TVA. She mocked, the fate of the Tesseract is no longer up to you. Lin Nan gritted his teeth, his heart filled with anger and struggle. He knew he had to find a way to get rid of the collar, otherwise the fate of the Tesseract would be in danger. At this moment, suddenly, a dazzling light descended from the sky and illuminated the entire desert. Everyone looked up and saw a mysterious device suspended in the air, emitting a charming light. Lin Nan and the female captain looked at this device in surprise at the same time, and they could both feel the powerful power contained in it. The female captain's heart moved, and she realized that this device might be a tool that could reset time. "This is," she said in surprise. She didn't expect such a mysterious device to appear at this time. Lin Nan was also shocked, and there was a surge of hope in his heart. Maybe this device can help him break free from the constraints of the collar and regain control of his own destiny. Without much thought, Lin Nan decided to take the risk. He struggled hard, trying to get rid of the restraints of the collar, and moved forward in the direction of the device. When the female captain saw this, she immediately realized Lin Nan's intention. She hurriedly chased him and tried to stop him. However, Lin Nan was fully focused on moving towards the goal without any fear. Just when the female captain was about to launch an attack, Lin Nan finally came to the side of the device. He stretched out his hand and lightly touched the surface of the device. Suddenly, a powerful energy poured into his body. Lin Nan felt an extremely powerful force surge in his body, and his body began to change. The restraints on the collar gradually disappeared, his strength returned, and he was free again. Upon seeing this, the female captain hurriedly took action, trying to stop Lin Nan's actions. However, at this moment, Lin Nan had regained his former strength. He quickly dodged the attack of the female captain, and then knocked her to the ground with a backhand blow. The female captain curled up in pain, realizing her failure. You traitor," she said through gritted teeth. Lin Nan ignored the female captain's curse and turned around and walked towards the device. He knew that he must use this device to reset time, stop the evil Foss's conspiracy, and protect the peace of the universe. He stretched out his hand, touched the device lightly, closed his eyes, and prayed silently in his heart. With a burst of dazzling light, the entire desert seemed to begin to tremble. Under the shroud of light, time seemed to start to flow backwards, and the scene in the desert gradually blurred, and then returned to its original state. Everything seemed to be back to its original state, and everything became clear. When the light dissipated, Lin Nan slowly opened his eyes and found that he had returned to the moment just now. However, he knows that this time his actions will be different. He must stop the evil Foss's conspiracy and protect the peace of the universe. After passing through the time and space gate, Lin Nan was taken to TVA's headquarters. He felt a huge energy surrounding the building, which seemed to come from the depths of the universe. He was taken to a huge hall, where people came and went, and various strange creatures shuttled through it, showing diversity and prosperity. "Welcome to TVA, Time Variation Administration." A senior TVA official came over, his eyes sharp, revealing an indescribable majesty. "You are Lin Nan, the traveler who holds the Tesseract." Lin Nan's eyes were firm, and he seemed unafraid when facing TVA's senior officials. "Yes, I am Lin Nan," he said. "I have my mission, and I will not let Tesseract fall into the wrong hands." The TVA official nodded. "Your determination is admirable," he said, "but the power of the Tesseract is too great and should not be controlled by a traveler." Lin Nan looked at the TVA official calmly. "I know it's dangerous," he said, "but I'm willing to take on this responsibility for the sake of the peace of the universe." The TVA official was silent for a moment, and then said, "We will monitor your actions to ensure the safety of the universe." Lin Nan knew that he could no longer escape TVA's surveillance, but he was not afraid because he had his own beliefs and determination. At TVA's headquarters, Lin Nan underwent various tests and reviews to confirm his identity and intentions. He faced every test calmly, showing his firmness and decisiveness. At the same time, he also learned about TVA's organizational structure and operations. TVA is an existence that transcends time and space. They are responsible for maintaining the stability of the universe and preventing the distortion and disorder of the timeline. Lin Nan knows his mission well, and he is determined to cooperate with TVA to jointly protect the peace of the universe. Although he knew it would not be an easy road, he was willing to make every effort for his beliefs and mission. In TVA's headquarters, Lin Nan met many different people and creatures, who came from different times and spaces, and each of them had their own unique stories and experiences. He became good friends with a female warrior named Kate, who possesses unparalleled fighting skills and wisdom. They competed on the training ground and learned from each other. At the same time, Lin Nan also met a time mutant named Loki. He is a member of TVA and has abilities and wisdom beyond ordinary people. He and Lin Nan have a special tacit understanding and an indescribable connection between them. Lin Nan felt desperate and wanted to escape, but the collar that controlled the timeline restrained him. His hands could not touch it, and any attempt was in vain. It seems you can't escape. A cold voice sounded behind Lin Nan. He turned his head and saw a TVA agent standing there with cold and ruthless eyes. The agent slowly walked towards Lin Nan. His steps were steady and powerful, revealing an irresistible sense of oppression. You can't escape with a collar on, the agent said, with a hint of sarcasm in his voice. You are completely under our control. Lin Nan felt a surge of anger welling up in his heart. He desperately tried to break free from the restraints of the collar, but to no avail. He knew that his power could no longer compete with TVA, and he had to find other ways to get out of this predicament. You can't treat me like this. Lin Nan gritted his teeth and said, I have my mission, and I won't let you stop me. The agent sneered. Do you think you can stop us? He said. You are just a traveler, not worth mentioning. Lin Nan felt a sense of despair, knowing that he had fallen into a dangerous situation. However, he did not give up. He knew he had to find a way to break free from this bondage and continue his mission. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in Lin Nan's mind. Lin Nan, don't give up. That was Loki's voice. You must believe in your own strength. Lin Nan was shocked, and he realized that Loki was contacting him, giving him support and encouragement. He felt a firm force pouring into his heart, and he knew that he could not give in easily, and he must persist to the end. I can't give up, Lin Nan said to himself silently. I must believe in my own strength and keep moving forward. He resolutely decided that he would persevere despite facing many difficulties. He stopped trying to break free from the collar and turned to other solutions. At this moment, an idea suddenly occurred to him. He knew that although he could not get rid of the collar, he could use the collar to draw TVA's attention and give himself a chance to escape. So, Lin Nan pretended to be obedient and silently waited for the opportunity to come. When the agent relaxes his guard and turns away, he suddenly takes action. He turned around suddenly, struggled to break free from the collar, and rushed out of TVA's headquarters in an instant. His actions were quick and decisive, leaving no time for the agent to react. The agent watched Lin Nan disappear from sight in shock, knowing that he had made a serious mistake. He immediately reported it to his superiors and tried his best to track down Lin Nan's whereabouts. The female captain sneered and took out a remote control. She pressed one of the buttons. Lin Nan suddenly felt a powerful force surrounding him. His body was pulled uncontrollably and flew towards TVA's headquarters again. Do you think you can escape? You are too naive, the female captain said sarcastically, with a hint of cunning and arrogance in her eyes. Lin Nan struggled desperately, but the powerful force left him helpless. He felt a sense of powerlessness come over him, and he knew that he had fallen into a trap from which he could not extricate himself. Finally, he was brought back to TVA's headquarters and imprisoned in his original location again. His heart was heavy, and he knew he was facing a more difficult challenge. In TVA's prison, Lin Nan stared out the window, filled with anxiety and uneasiness. He knew he had to find a way to break free from the collar and regain control of his destiny. At this moment, a mysterious voice suddenly sounded in his ears. Lin Nan, do you need help? There was a hint of concern and worry in his voice. Lin Nan turned his head and saw a vague figure standing there. His identity and origin made Lin Nan curious and expectant. Who are you? Lin Nan asked, his voice full of doubts and curiosity. The mysterious man smiled. I am a member of an organization that is against TVA, he said. We have a common enemy and I am willing to help you get out of trouble. Lin Nan's heart moved, and he realized that this might be a rare opportunity. What can you do? He asked, hoping to get some effective advice and help. The mysterious man showed a mysterious smile. We have a way to remove the collar, he said, but we need you to cooperate with our actions. Lin Nan thought for a moment and finally nodded. I am willing to cooperate, he said. As long as I can get rid of the shackles of the collar, I am willing to pay any price. The mysterious man smiled and nodded. Follow me, he said, then turned and walked toward the prison door. Lin Nan followed closely behind, full of expectation and hope. He knew that he was about to embark on a new path and face more difficult challenges, but he no longer felt fear because he knew that he was no longer alone and that someone was willing to lend a helping hand and fight alongside him. The elevator door slowly closed, and Lin Nan was brought into a space full of mysterious atmosphere. He looked around and found himself in a spacious hall. The walls were inlaid with ancient runes and mysterious patterns, exuding a mysterious and ancient atmosphere. "Welcome to our base." The mysterious man's voice sounded in Lin Nan's ears. "This is our stronghold against TVA. You will find your own strength here." A trace of surprise flashed in Lin Nan's eyes. He didn't expect that he would be taken to such a mysterious place. "Where is this?" he asked curiously. The mysterious man smiled. "This is our secret base, the stronghold of an organization that opposes TVA." He explained, "We are committed to protecting freedom and justice and competing with powerful organizations like TVA." Lin Nan felt a surge of admiration in his heart. He knew that he and this organization had a common goal and mission. "I am willing to join you," he said solemnly. "I will do my best to fight for freedom and justice." The mysterious man smiled and nodded. "Very well, your joining will make us stronger," he said. "Now, let us start your training." In the days that followed, Lin Nan underwent rigorous training and testing. He continued to improve his ability and realm in order to better adapt to this new environment and role. He learned how to use his powers and skills to fight against the TVA and protect the peace of the universe. He met many like-minded partners and worked side by side with them to meet challenges together. In the process of training and testing, Lin Nan gradually realized his potential and mission. He is no longer a lone traveler, but a warrior fighting alongside many heroes. In the struggle with TVA, Lin Nan showed his courage and wisdom. He became a member of this organization and worked hard for the common goal. However, he knows that this is just the beginning, and he is facing more challenges and tests. He must always remain vigilant and be ready to face new challenges at any time. Lin Nan followed the mysterious man through the hall and came to a small room. The layout of the room is simple, but every wall is covered with strange devices and symbols, exuding a mysterious and ancient atmosphere. In the center of the room, there is a very old-looking printer. "This is our signing ceremony." The mysterious man pointed at the printer and said, "Every word you say will be printed out and you will be asked to sign for confirmation." Lin Nan was slightly shocked. He did not expect such a ceremony. "Understood." He nodded and was about to sign. The mysterious man picked up an ancient quill pen and gently touched the button on the printer. The printer made a slight buzzing sound and then began to print slowly. The first sentence appeared on the paper. "I, Lin Nan, am willing to join the organization against TVA and fight for freedom and justice." Lin Nan stared at these handwritings, filled with determination and belief. He took a deep breath, then picked up the pen and signed his name below. Then, the printer continued to print the next sentence. "I will do my best to protect the peace and security of the universe." Lin Nan looked at these words silently, his heart filled with a sense of responsibility and mission. He picked up the pen again and signed his name below. The printer continued to print the next sentence. "I am willing to obey the organization's command and arrangements and fight together with my partners." Lin Nan signed his name without hesitation. He knew that he had made the right choice and chose to fight side by side with his partners and work hard for the common goal. Finally, the printer printed out the last sentence. "I will always be loyal to the organization, no matter what difficulties and tests I face." Lin Nan signed his name vigorously, his heart full of firmness and determination. He knew that he had become a member of this organization and would fight with his partners for the peace and security of the universe. After the signing ceremony, the mysterious man put away the quill and put the paper away. "Now you are one of us," he said. "Next, let us start your training." Lin Nan followed the mysterious man out of the signing room and entered another room. The room appears relatively empty, with a black square in the center surrounded by a metal frame that looks like a square stage. "This is our training ground," the mysterious man explained. "Here, you will accept various challenges and tests to improve your ability." Chapter 51. Lin Nan looked around, filled with expectations and challenges. "I'm ready," he said. "Please tell me what to do next." The mysterious man smiled and nodded. "First of all, you need to obtain the ticket to challenge," he said. "Only after obtaining the ticket can you enter the field of challenge." Lin Nan nodded and walked to the corner of the room, where there was a small room that looked like a ticket booth. He walked into the hut and found an ancient ticket vending machine inside. There is a display on the ticket machine that shows the names and descriptions of the various challenges. Lin Nan browsed and found that there were various challenges, including strength challenges, speed challenges, intelligence challenges, etc. He chose a challenge called Valley of Shadows. The description of the challenge reads, "In this challenge, you will enter a phantom-like maze and face various phantoms and obstacles. You need to use your wisdom and courage, find the way to the exit." Lin Nan's heart moved and she thought this challenge was very interesting. He pressed the button and the ticket machine issued a slip of paper with an admission ticket printed on it. Taking the ticket, Lin Nan returned to the training ground. The mysterious man was waiting there. He saw the ticket in Lin Nan's hand and nodded with a smile. "Now that you're ready for the challenge," he said, "let's get started." Lin Nan followed the mysterious man to the center of the training ground. The mysterious man pointed to the huge amounts of black squares. "Enter the cube and the challenge begins," he said. Lin Nan took a deep breath and walked towards the square. When he stepped into the cube, a powerful force surrounded him, and his vision began to change, as if he was in an illusion. The maze is full of various phantoms and obstacles, and Lin Nan constantly shuttles through it, looking for a path to the exit. He needs to use his wisdom and courage to overcome various difficulties and challenges in order to successfully pass this challenge. He kept moving forward, facing obstacles and phantoms one after another. Sometimes he needs to jump, sometimes he needs to dodge, sometimes he needs to solve puzzles. But no matter what difficulties he encountered, he never flinched and always maintained firm faith and courage. During the challenge, Lin Nan continuously improved his ability in Realm. He learned how to deal with various challenges and problems and became a true warrior. Lin Nan walked through the maze, trying to find the path to the exit. Around a corner, he suddenly heard a high-pitched scream. He turned around quickly and found a figure disappearing into a ball of powder. He was shocked and quickly ran to that place. When he arrived, he saw a young man with confused eyes and his body began to fade away, as if he was being swallowed by some force. "Save him quickly," Lin Nan shouted, rushing towards the young man. The mysterious people also arrived, and they quickly used their abilities to try to prevent the erosion of that power. But it was too late, and the young man finally turned into powder and disappeared into the air. "What's going on?" Lin Nan asked, filled with shock and fear. The mysterious man was silent for a while, then slowly spoke. "This is the cruelty of the challenge," he said. "In this space, people without tickets will be forced to disappear and turn into powder." Lin Nan was shocked. He did not expect that the challenge would be so cruel. He took a deep breath and determined to complete this challenge without letting anyone get hurt again. He continued to move forward, although his heart was full of fear and anxiety, but he knew that he had to be strong and face all kinds of difficulties and challenges bravely. During the challenge, he encountered various phantoms and obstacles, but he was not afraid and worked hard to overcome every difficulty and move toward the exit. Lin Nan hurriedly took out his ticket, anxiously hoping to avoid the same fate as that young man. He ran forward suddenly, towards the place where the powder appeared. The mysterious man followed closely behind. The distance between the two seemed to become irrelevant at this moment. The only important thing was to get to the young man as soon as possible. Finally, when Lin Nan and the mysterious man arrived, the young man's body began to gradually disappear, and the admission ticket he held tightly in his hand began to slowly lose its light. Lin Nan's heart tightened, and he quickly knelt down and tried to put the ticket into the young man's hand. "Quick, catch it," he shouted anxiously. The mysterious man also joined the action. He condensed an energy field and tried to slow down the disappearance of the young man's body. But it was too late, and the tickets began to disappear slowly, as if swallowed by some kind of force. At the last moment, the young man's hand suddenly grabbed hard and held the ticket tightly. The admission ticket suddenly emitted a dazzling light, then turned into a ray of light and shot into the young man's body. Lin Nan and the mysterious man breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that the young man had been saved. However, the young man still had confusion and fear on his face, and he didn't know what was happening. "You're okay," Lin Nan comforted softly, "you are safe." The young man slowly opened his eyes. He saw Lin Nan and the mysterious man. The fear in his heart gradually disappeared, replaced by a feeling of gratitude. "Thank you," he said, "I don't know what happened to me." Lin Nan smiled and shook his head. "You're welcome, we just did what we could," he said. The mysterious man also came over and asked about the young man's situation with concern. They decided to take the young man back to the base for further examination and treatment. On the way back to the base, Lin Nan chatted with the young man. He learned that the young man was an ordinary person who was accidentally involved in this challenge. Their conversation made Lin Nan more aware of the cruelty and danger of the challenge, and also strengthened his determination to protect those innocent people from being harmed. The Guardians of the Galaxy were once a powerful alliance, and their goal was to protect the peace and order of the universe. However, now they face an unknown threat, a dark force that is about to destroy the entire universe. In this endless war, Lin Nan has become the key. It hides a powerful energy that can change the situation of the battle. The Guardians of the Galaxy set their sights on this planet, looking for hope that can save them from despair. At the edge of this universe, there is a man named Peter Quill. He is an adventurer from Earth who was chosen by fate to become one of the greatest heroes in the universe, Star-Lord. He leads a team of aliens called the Star Falcons. Their mission is to stop the spread of dark forces and save the entire universe. However, in this war, Star-Lord and his team found themselves facing an unprecedented dilemma. Their enemies are powerful and cruel, and their alliance is falling apart. Just when everything seemed hopeless, they heard the legend about Lin Nan. It is said that Lin Nan is a mysterious planet with the power to change the fate of the universe. In despair, Star-Lord and his team decided to go to Lin Nan to find hope that could save the universe. However, Lin Nan is not easily accessible. It is hidden in the mist of the starry sky, and only the brave can find its traces. Star-Lord and his team embarked on a difficult journey. They had to face many difficulties and challenges in order to reach this planet. During their journey, they met many strange creatures and encountered countless dangers. However, their determination and courage have never wavered, because they know that only by reaching Lin Nan can they find the answer to saving the universe. As Star-Lord and his team embark on a journey to find Lin Nan, on the other hand, amazing changes are also taking place on the Earth. Wawa, once an ordinary scientist, has now become one of the heroes of the Avengers. Her wisdom and courage make her unique in the universe and become the object of admiration by everyone. In the face of the current crisis, Wawa showed unprecedented determination and perseverance. In her laboratory, Wawa is desperately conducting an unprecedented research, time travel. She believes that only by traveling through time can the antidote to save the universe be found. The entire laboratory was filled with an electric atmosphere. Wawa was wearing a white lab coat, with a firm light shining in her eyes. Her fingers danced nimbly on the console, operating various complex instruments. "Wawa, this experiment is too dangerous." A voice sounded in the laboratory, and it was Wawa's partner, mechanical engineer Alan. His voice was worried and uneasy. Wawa stopped what she was doing and turned to face Alan. She smiled and said, "Alan, I know this is dangerous, but this is our only hope. If we don't take action, the entire universe will fall into darkness. We cannot sit idly by, we must fight for the future." Alan looked at Wawa's firm eyes, filled with admiration and trust in his heart. He knew that Wawa had never been a person who backed down easily, and she could always find a solution to a problem. "Okay, I believe you, Wawa. We must succeed," Alan said, his voice full of determination. Wawa nodded slightly and returned to the experiment. She knows that this experiment is full of unknowns and risks, but she is willing to bear everything to save the universe. Time passes slowly in the laboratory, and every minute and every second is a test for Wawa and Alan. They constantly adjust parameters, optimize programs, and try various possibilities. Finally, after countless attempts, they found a path to success. They succeed in creating a device that can travel through time, which will be their key to saving the universe. While Wawa and Alan successfully created the time travel device, Star-Lord and his team also continued their journey to find Lin Nan. They traveled across the stars and experienced countless adventures and challenges, but they never gave up hope for Lin Nan. They know that only by finding Lin Nan can they find the answer to saving the universe. In the starship, Star-Lord and his team gathered together to discuss their next move. We have been searching this planet for a long time, but still can't find any traces. Maybe we missed something, Hulk Battery asked, his voice low and calm. Maybe Lin Nan is not an ordinary planet, maybe it is hidden in a place we can't imagine. We must carefully observe every detail and look for clues. Sniper Lucia put forward her idea, her eyes flashing with wit of light. Star-Lord thought for a moment, then nodded in agreement. He knew that they could no longer search blindly as before, they had to find a new way to find Lin Nan. Just then, they received an urgent signal. It's news from Earth that Wawa and Alan have successfully created a time travel device, and they need the help of Star-Lord and his team. Star-Lord and his team set off immediately, heading towards Earth. They know that the time travel device will be the key to them finding Lin Nan. Only through the power of time can they find the infinite gems and save the universe. When they arrived on Earth, Wawa and Alan had everything ready. They moved the time travel device to an abandoned factory, which was the best place for them to conduct experiments. Welcome back, Star-Lord. We have prepared everything and are just waiting for your arrival, Wawa said to Star-Lord and his group with a smile. Star-Lord and his team entered the factory, and they saw everything Wawa and Alan had prepared. The time travel device exudes a faint light, as if telling its power and mystery. So, what do we do? Star-Lord asked, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. We need to collect the Infinity Stones, which is the key to saving the universe. According to my research, the Infinity Stones are scattered in different time and space, and we must travel through time to collect them. Wawa explained, her tone firm and confident. Star-Lord and his team nodded in agreement, knowing that this would be a dangerous and difficult mission. But they are determined to complete this mission, save the universe, and protect the future of all life. While Star-Lord and his team activated the time-traveling device, amazing changes also occurred on the Earth. Lin Nan's forces continue to launch an invasion of the Earth. Their goal is to seize the Earth's resources to support their ambitions in the universe. However, the humans on the Earth were not helpless. They organized themselves and launched a fierce confrontation with Lin Nan's forces. In the ruins of a city, the Human Resistance Organization is actively preparing to fight against Lin Nan. They built simple fortifications, trained soldiers, and prepared to face the coming enemy. We cannot let Lin Nan's invaders succeed. We must defend our homeland. The leader of the resistance organization shouted loudly, and his voice inspired everyone present. We will definitely win. We can't let them destroy our Earth. A young soldier raised his arms and shouted, his eyes full of determination and courage. Just as the resistance organization was preparing to fight, a lightning-like light suddenly appeared in the sky. Everyone looked up and saw a group of humans wearing strange equipment emerging from the light. They were the team led by Wawa and Alan. Quick, we have to help them quickly, Wawa shouted loudly, and she led the team to rush towards the resistance organization. At this critical moment, humans on Earth and heroes from the universe unite to fight against Lin Nan's invasion. They fought fiercely and tried their best to defend their homeland. On the battlefield, Wawa and Alan showed their extraordinary abilities. Wawa used her scientific knowledge to develop a series of high-tech weapons that effectively resisted Lin Nan's attack. Alan used his mechanical talents to repair damaged facilities and provided strong support to the resistance organization. We must cooperate to defeat them, Wawa shouted, her voice full of confidence and determination. That's right, we can't let them succeed. Alan held the weapon tightly, his eyes shining with determination. With the joint efforts of Wawa, Alan and the humans on Earth, they finally repelled Lin Nan's invasion. Lin Nan's forces were completely defeated, and they were forced to retreat and leave the Earth forever. After the battle, people on Earth cheered and celebrated victory. They are grateful to Wawa, Alan and the heroes from the universe. Because of their bravery and sacrifice, the Earth survived. In the joy of victory, Wawa and Alan met Star-Lord and his team. They exchanged thanks and greetings, expressing their sincere respect for each other's courage and determination. After Lin Nan's invasion failed, the Avengers turned their attention to a greater threat, the distortion of time and space. They realized that this distortion may be a weapon being used by another, more powerful enemy, and they must find a solution as soon as possible. In an emergency meeting, Wawa, Alan, Star-Lord and other heroes gathered together to discuss the challenges they faced. We must find the source of this distortion as soon as possible, otherwise the universe will face unpredictable disasters. Star-Lord's voice was low and serious, and he knew that time was running out for them. I believe that we can use our time travel device to track the source of this distortion. Wawa's eyes flashed with wisdom, and she was confident that she could solve this problem. Alan nodded, and he began to plan how to use the time travel device to track the source of this distortion. They must act as soon as possible, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous. During the preparation process, a sudden strong vibration came and the entire conference room was shaking. The Avengers heroes immediately became vigilant, knowing that this meant a new danger had emerged. Just then, a group of soldiers wearing black armor broke into the conference room. Their figures looked extremely large, and each of them exuded a frightening aura. "Quick, catch them," a leading soldier ordered, his voice cold and hoarse. The Avengers heroes immediately fought back, using their skills and equipment to begin a fierce battle with these soldiers. Blossom uses her scientific knowledge to create high-tech weapons, Star-Lord and his team demonstrate their combat skills, and Alan uses his mechanical talents to repair damaged facilities. The battle was extremely fierce, and the conference room was filled with the sound of explosions and the collision of weapons. The Avengers heroes tried their best to fight these mysterious soldiers, knowing that only by defeating them can they continue to track the distortion of time and space. Finally, after a hard battle, the Avengers heroes successfully repelled this group of mysterious soldiers. They were breathing heavily, but with victory smiles on their faces, because they knew they had won the battle. As the Avengers heroes gather to continue tracking the distortion of time and space, a conspiracy is quietly brewing. Iron Man Tony Stark was once a member of the Avengers, but now he betrayed them and became a lonely villain. He is vengeful and determined to find a powerful force to destroy his enemies. In the dark night, Iron Man quietly sneaked into the Avengers Tower. His target was the Tesseract. This powerful object was once used to defeat the forces of evil, but now, it's a weapon in the hands of Iron Man. Iron Man walked through the corridor of the building, his figure looking extremely cold under the dim light. Using his skills and equipment, he easily circumvented Avengers security and gained access to the Tesseract's display case. "Everything is under my control," Iron Man said to himself, his voice full of confidence and arrogance. Just when he was about to seize the Tesseract, a voice suddenly sounded. "Stop, you can't take that away." A figure walked out of the darkness. It was Spider-Man Peter Parker. Iron Man turned to face Spider-Man, with a sarcastic smile on his face. "Boy, you came just in time. I was in need of some entertainment," Iron Man said sarcastically, with a hint of disdain in his voice. Spider-Man is undaunted and his eyes shine with bravery. "I won't let you succeed, Tony. You have embarked on the wrong path, and I will stop you," Spider-Man said firmly, his voice full of justice and determination. The confrontation between the two was like a silent show, tense and intense. Iron Man and Spider-Man are both top fighters, and the battle between them will be a fierce competition. Inside the Avengers building, they fought fiercely. Iron Man uses his high-tech equipment and superb fighting skills to try to defeat Spider-Man. Spider-Man uses his flexibility and unique ability to constantly evade Iron Man's attacks. The battle lasted for a long time, and they fought fiercely in every corner of the building. In a flash of lightning, they showed top fighting skills and extraordinary abilities. However, at the end of the battle, Spider-Man used his wit and courage to finally defeat Iron Man. He successfully prevented Iron Man's plot to steal the Tesseract and protected the security of the universe. After Spider-Man successfully stopped Iron Man's plot to steal the Tesseract, the Avengers Tower fell into chaos. Iron Man's betrayal plunged the Avengers heroes into extreme confusion and anger. They don't understand why someone who was once their ally has become so betrayed, and this confusion and anger quickly turns into chaos and conflict. In the corridor of the building, the members of the Avengers got into a chaotic fight. The heroes who were originally united have now become each other's enemies, and the battle between them becomes more intense and more vicious. "We can't let Iron Man succeed. He has betrayed us and we must catch him," shouted an Avengers member, waving the energy weapons in his hands and rushing towards his enemy. "We can't let anyone stop us. We have to find the Tesseract or it will be over," another Avengers member shouted, his eyes filled with madness and desire. On this chaotic battlefield, a desperate struggle began between the heroes. They used their respective abilities and skills to fight fiercely. No one was willing to give in. Everyone was fighting for their own beliefs. In a corner, Spider-Man and Hulk Battery are having a fierce duel. Spider-Man uses his agility and quick attacks to try to defeat Bartley. Battery showed his powerful strength and invincible fighting ability, trying to knock Spider-Man to the ground. Bartley, you have to stop. We are allies, not enemies. Spider-Man shouted, his voice full of pleading and pleading. I am no longer your ally. I only believe in power. Bakwi roared, his eyes full of anger and determination. Elsewhere, there was also a fierce showdown between Star-Lord and Wawa. Star-Lord uses his superb shooting skills and wit to fight back, while Blossom uses her scientific knowledge and technological equipment to try to create more powerful weapons to fight him. You don't understand, Blossom. We have to find the Tesseract or the universe will face extinction. Star-Lord said angrily, his eyes flashing with angry fire. You are wrong, Star-Lord. We cannot sacrifice everything for power. Wawa responded calmly, her voice full of firmness and determination. As the Avengers building fell into chaos, Lin Nan accidentally received news about the Tesseract, which made his ambition stronger and gave him the opportunity to escape from the scene. Outside the building, a team of agents composed of Lin Nan's men had been lurking for a long time, waiting for the best opportunity. They watched closely what was going on inside the building, waiting for their leader to issue action instructions. Chief, we have received the news from the Tesseract and are ready for everything. An agent reported in a low voice, his eyes shining with anticipation. Lin Nan sat on the chair in the command center, his eyes revealing a hint of excitement and cunning. Very good, everything is going according to plan. We must act as soon as possible to prevent the Tesseract from falling into their hands. Lin Nan calmly issued the order, his voice revealing an unquestionable authority. The agents acted quickly, using their skills and equipment to successfully break into the Avengers Tower. Inside the building, they encountered members of the Avengers and started a fierce battle. In this chaotic battle, the agents showed extraordinary fighting skills and fearless courage. Using a variety of weapons and tactics, they attempt to defeat the Avengers and seize the Tesseract. In the corridor of the building, the agents had a fierce duel with the members of the Avengers. Their weapons kept interlacing, making harsh collision sounds, and the entire building was enveloped in the flames of battle. We have to stop them. We can't let the Tesseract fall into their hands, shouted an Avengers member, waving the energy weapons in his hands and rushing towards the agents. We cannot fail. We have to fight for the leader. An agent shouted loudly, his eyes full of determination and fanaticism. In this life and death struggle, the agents and members of the Avengers paid huge amounts of price. They fought bravely in the intertwining of blood and fire. No one was willing to retreat. Everyone was fighting for their own beliefs. At the end of the battle, the agents finally succeeded in capturing the Tesseract. In the chaos, they quickly evacuated the scene and left the Avengers building with the Tesseract. Through the power of Tesseract, Lin Nan came to a remote and mysterious place of vast desert. In this desolate desert, the endless yellow sand shines golden in the sun, and the heat wave distorts the horizon, making people feel as if they are in a furnace. In this desert, life is scarce and precious, and only those tenacious creatures can survive in this desolate land. At this moment, several nomads dressed in simple clothes came from the other side of the desert. Although their faces were covered by the wind and sand, their steps were firm and their eyes revealed a kind of bravery and tenacity. Lin Nan stood in the center of the desert, with the power of the Tesseract surrounding him, making him look extremely powerful and mysterious. His eyes scanned the surroundings, as if looking for something. At this moment, the nomads discovered Lin Nan's figure. They stopped and looked at this strange visitor curiously. Who are you? Why did you appear in our territory? A nomad asked, his tone revealing vigilance and curiosity. Lin Nan did not answer, but stared at them quietly, with a hint of cunning and ambition in his eyes. It looks like this guy is no ordinary person, maybe an alien from a distant planet. Another nomad whispered to his companion, his voice revealing a sense of awe and surprise. No matter who he is, we can't let him stay in our territory for too long. We have to be vigilant and protect our homeland. The third nomad whispered, his hand already clenched the weapon in his hand, ready to fight at any time, prepare for possible threats. Lin Nan felt the vigilance and hostility of these nomads, but he was not afraid. On the contrary, his attitude toward them was full of disdain and contempt. You lowly natives, don't you know who I am? I am the master who controls the power of the universe. You should kneel at my feet and call me the great emperor. Lin Nan said arrogantly, his voice full of majesty and arrogance. When the nomads heard these words, a trace of anger and disdain flashed in their eyes. Although they live in this desolate desert, they do not surrender to anyone. They have their own dignity and freedom. We are free people and will not succumb to anyone's rule. You can leave our territory, otherwise we don't mind driving you out. A nomad said majestically, with a sense of intolerance in his voice, determination to violate. When Lin Nan heard these words, a trace of anger and disdain flashed in his eyes. He did not expect that these natives would dare to resist his rule, which made him feel angry and humiliated. Stupid natives, you will pay the price for your stupidity. Lin Nan roared, his voice full of anger and threats. At the edge of the desert, Lin Nan stood on a high ground, looking proudly at the desert in front of him. The sun was scorching, casting his figure on the golden sand sea, as if he was the master of this desolate land. I am Lin Nan, from the distant universe, controlling the power of the Tesseract. His voice echoed in the desert, full of confidence and majesty. His self-introduction caused waves of echoes in the desert, as if the earth was trembling with his presence. Several nomads listened quietly to his self-introduction, doubts and vigilance flashing in their eyes. Tesseract, what is this? A nomad asked curiously, with a hint of surprise and curiosity in his eyes. Lin Nan smiled when he heard this question. He thought the ignorance of these natives was really ridiculous. The Tesseract is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. It can control time and space, making it unmatched by anyone. His voice was full of arrogance and conceit. Hearing this explanation, a trace of surprise and fear flashed in the eyes of the nomads. They had never heard of the Tesseract and had never imagined the existence of such a powerful force. Why did you come to our territory? What do you want to do? Asked another nomad, wariness and distrust in his voice. When Lin Nan heard this question, a trace of indifference and contempt flashed in his eyes. He was unwilling to explain his behavior to these lowly natives because he thought they could not understand his ambitions and goals. I came to this land to find more power. Only by mastering the power of the Tesseract can I become the true master of the universe. His voice was cold and arrogant, full of determination and persistence towards his goals. Hearing this answer, an ominous premonition arose in the hearts of the nomads. They realized that the man who called himself Lin Nan was not something they could deal with. His ambition and power were far beyond their imagination. At the edge of the desert, just when Lin Nan introduced himself to the nomads, a group of people wearing strange costumes suddenly appeared. They were from TVA, the Time Variation Administration. Their arrival was like a strong wind, quickly sweeping the desert scene into their control. They wore uniforms of time and space, and their cold faces revealed a ruthless rigor. When Lin Nan saw their arrival, a trace of vigilance flashed in his eyes. The arrival of TVA represents a threat. They are the highest-level management organization for time and space in the universe. Their mission is to maintain the stability of the timeline and prevent any interference with time. People from TVA. A nomad exclaimed. They knew TVA's intentions well, which meant that there might be a problem with their timeline. TVA personnel quickly surrounded the desert, and their actions were swift and methodical. They ignored the nomads and turned their attention directly to Lin Nan. Are you Lin Nan? According to our information, you have caused serious interference in the timeline. A TVA agent walked up to Lin Nan, his tone cold and stern. Lin Nan stood there, with a trace of disdain and arrogance in his eyes. Timeline. So what? I control the power of the Tesseract, who dares to stop me? TVA's agents faced Lin Nan's arrogant attitude, but they did not show weakness. According to the decree of the Time Variation Administration, you must come with us and accept trial. Lin Nan sneered, judgment. What qualifications do you have to judge me? I am the master of the universe, you are just a bunch of ants. His voice was full of disdain and contempt. TVA's agents were expressionless, but there was a sense of determination in their eyes. No matter what kind of power you have, you can't escape the sanctions of the Time Variation Administration. Lin Nan stood on the high ground in the desert, facing the TVA agents, with a hint of vigilance and uneasiness in his eyes. Although he is arrogant, he knows that the confrontation with TVA will be a battle full of dangers. Lin Nan, you have violated the time rules, you must face trial. A TVA agent shouted loudly, his voice full of seriousness and majesty. Lin Nan looked at them indifferently, his heart full of anger and struggle. He knew that he had made a serious mistake, but he was not willing to give in to TVA's pressure easily. Do you think you can control time? Ridiculous, Lin Nan mocked, with a kind of disdain and contempt in his voice. When the TVA agents heard this, a trace of anger and dissatisfaction flashed across their faces. You can't escape the sanctions of time, Lin Nan. You have made an irreparable mistake. At this moment, suddenly, a strong energy fluctuation came from the distance, like a bolt of lightning piercing the sky, causing a commotion in the desert. Lin Nan and TVA's agents all felt this powerful energy fluctuation, and their faces showed expressions of surprise and nervousness. What happened? A TVA agent exclaimed, with a hint of panic and uneasiness in his eyes. Lin Nan glanced around calmly, a trace of vigilance flashing in his eyes. What is this energy fluctuation? Is there any other force involved? At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared from the source of the energy fluctuations. He wore a gorgeous robe, a golden crown on his head, and held a scepter that shone with strange light. Who is it? A TVA agent exclaimed, his hand already clenching the weapon in his hand, ready to deal with possible threats. Lin Nan stared at that figure, a trace of surprise and curiosity flashing in his eyes. Could it be? The figure walked up to Lin Nan and TVA's agents, his eyes full of majesty and authority. Lin Nan, you have made a serious mistake, but I can give you a chance. Lin Nan was shocked when he heard this voice. Who are you? Why do you want to help me? The figure smiled slightly, I am the guardian of time. I know your interference in the timeline, but I believe you are not a complete villain. As long as you are willing to accept changes, I can help you correct your mistakes. The figure who claimed to be the guardian of time stood in front of Lin Nan. He held a scepter and his eyes were deep, as if he could understand Lin Nan's inner struggles and contradictions. Are you the guardian of time? Lin Nan asked, with a hint of hesitation and distrust in his voice. The guardian of time nodded, yes, Lin Nan. I see your heart. You are not a complete villain. You are just blinded by ambition and lost yourself. Lin Nan was silent for a moment, deep in thought. He knew that he had indeed made a serious mistake, but he was unwilling to give up the power in his hands easily. He felt conflicted about what the guardian of time said, but he didn't know how to choose. At this moment, a female captain walked out of the TVA agent team. She was holding a metal stick and her eyes were firm and calm. Guardians of time, we must take action and not allow Lin Nan to continue to interfere with the timeline. The female captain said, her voice revealing a firmness and decisiveness. The guardian of time nodded, you are right, female captain. We cannot let Lin Nan continue to act recklessly. Hearing these words, Lin Nan's heart sank. He knew that he was in trouble and he must accept the sanction of the guardian of time, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. I will accept your terms, guardian of time. Lin Nan finally made a decision, with a hint of helplessness and loss in his voice. The guardian of time smiled slightly, with a hint of relief and love in his eyes. Very good, Lin Nan. I believe you will find your way back. At this moment, the female captain walked up to Lin Nan. She held a metal stick and knocked Lin Nan to the ground with one blow. Don't think of any more resistance. The female captain shouted coldly, and she quickly put a collar that could control time around Lin Nan's neck. Lin Nan felt a strange energy coming from the collar, and his body trembled involuntarily. He knew that he had been bound and could no longer escape the sanction of time. The guardian of time walked up to Lin Nan, his eyes full of love and hope. Lin Nan, you have accepted the change. I will help you correct your mistakes and get back on track. Lin Nan nodded silently, his heart filled with gratitude and guilt. He knows that he has embarked on the right path, and he must work hard to correct his mistakes and become a better self again. After the Guardians of Time and TVA agents took away Lin Nan, everything in the desert returned to peace. The female captain and the agents silently packed their bags and prepared to leave this place that had undergone drastic changes. However, just as they were about to leave, a bright light suddenly appeared in the center of the desert. The female captain and agents immediately raised their weapons vigilantly, not knowing what it was or what would happen. The light gradually dissipated, revealing a golden box, exuding a mysterious and powerful aura. The female captain stepped forward and looked at the golden box carefully. She could feel the endless power contained in this box, which made her heart move. "What is this?" a TVA agent asked curiously, with a trace of curiosity and excitement in his eyes. The female captain pondered for a moment. She knew that this golden box might be an extraordinary treasure, but it might also be a trap of huge amounts. "This box may be a tool that can reset time," the female captain said slowly, her voice revealing a sense of caution and vigilance. When the TVA agents heard this explanation, a trace of surprise and excitement flashed in their eyes. Tools that reset time mean they can change the past, fix timeline shifts, and get everything back on track. "What should we do?" asked another TVA agent, his voice revealing a sense of anticipation and excitement. The female captain thought for a moment. She knew that this decision was very important and any mistake could lead to disastrous consequences. But she also knows that if she can use this tool correctly, she may be able to save more worlds and restore stability to the timeline. "We will take this tool back to TVA headquarters for further research and analysis." The female captain finally made a decision, her voice revealing a firmness and determination. TVA's agents nodded one after another. They knew that the female captain's decision was correct. They must hand over this time resetting tool to TVA headquarters for more professional scientists and researchers to study and use it. Therefore, the female captain and TVA agents carefully put the golden box into their arms and prepared to leave the desert and go to TVA headquarters to start a new round of adventure and exploration. At the edge of the desert, the Guardians of Time and TVA agents gathered around the golden box, discussing the next move. At this moment, a dazzling light suddenly fell from the sky. Everyone looked up in surprise and saw a huge amount of space-time gate appearing in front of them. At this time, the space gate is controlled by everyone and is the portal to the TVA headquarters. They are preparing to take Lin Nan back to the headquarters for trial, and at the same time hand over the tools to reset time to professional scientists for research and analysis. "We have to get out of here quickly," the female captain said, with a sense of urgency in her tone. TVA agents immediately took action, surrounding Lin Nan and preparing to take him back to the headquarters. Lin Nan was tightly controlled by several agents, with a trace of disdain and anger flashing across his face. "You ants, you are not worthy of walking with me." "Shut up," an agent shouted coldly, pressing the weapon in his hand against Lin Nan's chest mercilessly. Everyone passed through the time and space gate and came to the different dimensional space where TVA headquarters is located. This place is a huge complex of buildings, as intricate as a maze of huge amounts. TVA's agents skillfully led everyone through various halls and corridors, heading straight to the highest level trial hall. The door of the trial hall was open, and a senior TVA official was waiting for everyone to arrive. He was wearing a gorgeous uniform and his eyes were burning, revealing a seriousness and majesty. "Welcome back to TVA headquarters," the senior official said, with a kind of solemnity and justice in his voice. Everyone brought Lin Nan to the trial hall. They all knew that this would be a serious and difficult trial process. Lin Nan's crime was not light, and he must accept sanctions from the Time Variation Administration. The trial began, and Lin Nan was put on a collar that restricted his ability. He was unable to exert any power and could only face the outcome of the trial silently. "Lin Nan, your interference in the timeline has seriously affected the stability of the universe. You must face trial." The senior official's voice was solemn and stern. Lin Nan was silent for a moment. He knew that he could no longer escape and he must accept the sanctions of the Time Variation Administration. "I accept the trial." Lin Nan finally made a decision, his voice revealing a sense of helplessness and loss. The trial process was difficult and long, but in the end, Lin Nan was sentenced to permanent imprisonment. He will be imprisoned in an inescapable time and space prison until he learns to repent and change his ways. After the trial, everyone handed the time reset tool to TVA headquarters for professional scientists to conduct research and analysis. The power of this tool is extremely powerful. If it can be used correctly, it may bring more hope and opportunities to the universe. Lin Nan was in the trial hall, but she was thinking about an escape plan in her heart. He understood that although he was put on a collar that controlled the timeline, he was not willing to be trapped there. His mind was spinning rapidly, looking for opportunities to escape. The trial continued, and the judge's words echoed in the hall. Lin Nan's thoughts drifted to the distance, trying to find a hope of escape. Lin Nan, your interference in the timeline has seriously affected the stability of the universe. You must face trial. The senior official's voice was solemn and stern. Lin Nan's heart trembled. He knew that the Time Variation Administration would never show mercy to his crimes. However, he did not give up the idea of escape. Suddenly, a glimmer of opportunity appeared in front of him. When an agent was adjusting the collar, he loosened his hand, causing a small gap in the connection of the collar. Lin Nan's heart moved, and he sensed this opportunity. He moved his wrist quietly, trying to twist his body to make the gap in the collar wider enough for him to break free. His body trembled slightly, and beads of sweat broke out on his forehead. The agents of the Time Variation Administration were focused on the trial process and did not notice Lin Nan's small movements. Finally, the gap in the collar became big enough, and Lin Nan used all his strength to try to squeeze his head out of the collar. He felt the material of the collar rubbing against his neck, but he didn't care and devoted himself entirely to his escape plan. However, just when he thought he could escape, the collar suddenly emitted a dazzling light and enveloped his body. He felt an invisible force tightly restraining his body, preventing him from continuing to struggle. Anomaly found. Lin Nan tried to escape. An agent immediately issued a warning, and other agents also responded immediately. Lin Nan felt powerless, and he understood that his plan had failed. The power of the collar was too strong for him to resist. The senior official frowned and looked at Lin Nan indifferently. Lin Nan, your escape will only make you pay a heavier price. Lin Nan closed his eyes, his heart filled with struggle and helplessness. He knows that he has fallen into trouble and must face trial and bear his guilt. The trial continued, and Lin Nan was restrained on the trial stage. His heart was full of helplessness and frustration. However, at this moment, the female captain suddenly picked up the remote control in her hand and pressed the button on Lin Nan's collar. The collar gave off a faint light, and Lin Nan felt that his body suddenly lost strength. His body began to become free, and the restraints of the collar disappeared. What happened? An agent asked in surprise. None of them understood the female captain's intention. The female captain looked at Lin Nan calmly, with a hint of complicated emotions in her eyes. Lin Nan, you have been punished, but I believe you are not a complete villain. I believe you can change your ways and become a better person again. Lin Nan was shocked. He did not expect that the female captain would be so tolerant of him. His heart was filled with gratitude and guilt, and he knew that he had been given a chance to start over. Thank you, female captain. Lin Nan whispered, his voice revealing a kind of regret and gratitude. The female captain nodded, knowing that this decision might cause some controversy, but she trusted her instincts. I'm sure you'll find the right path. After saying that, the female captain used the remote control to return Lin Nan to her original position. Lin Nan stood on the trial stage, full of expectations and determination for the future, and he decided to use actions to prove his changes. The trial continued, but the atmosphere was somewhat different at this time, and everyone's attitude towards Lin Nan also began to change. They may not completely trust Lin Nan, but at least they gave him a chance to start over. Lin Nan's eyes became firm and resolute. He knew that he was facing a difficult challenge, but he was ready to use his actions to prove his changes. Lin Nan stood in the trial hall, facing the results of the trial. His heart was in turmoil. Although he received the tolerance of the female captain, his heart was still full of struggle and uneasiness. At this moment, an elevator door suddenly opened, revealing a dark and mysterious passage. Lin Nan was roughly pushed into the elevator by two agents. He felt that his body suddenly lost weight, as if the whole world was shaking violently. What is this place? Lin Nan asked involuntarily, his voice full of fear and confusion. The agents just looked at him indifferently and did not answer his questions. Their expressions were serious, as if they were waiting for some kind of instruction. The elevator continued to descend, and Lin Nan felt like he was being brought into a completely unfamiliar space. He looked around and saw darkness all around him, with no sign of where this place was. Suddenly, the elevator stopped suddenly, and Lin Nan felt that his body was being pulled by strong gravity and falling straight down. He screamed, trying to grab something to stabilize his body, but there was nothing around him, and he could only let himself be swallowed up in the darkness. His heart was filled with fear and despair, and he didn't know what fate he was about to face. He closed his eyes, praying to survive and find a glimmer of hope again. Just when he thought he was about to fall into the bottomless abyss, he suddenly felt his body stop. He opened his eyes and found that he was floating in a strange and mysterious space. This space was full of strange energy, making Lin Nan feel an inexplicable fear and excited. He looked around and saw strange lights flashing from time to time in the boundless darkness, as if showing him an unknown power. "Where is this?" Lin Nan asked cautiously. His voice seemed unusually weak in this space. However, he received no response except his own echo. He felt as if he was in a deserted world, with only darkness and silence around him. Lin Nan's heart was filled with uneasiness and fear. He knew that he had to find a way out as soon as possible to get out of this dangerous space. He concentrated and began to look around for any signs that could lead him out of here. His heartbeat was rapid and rhythmic, and every heartbeat seemed to remind him that the situation he was in was extremely dangerous. However, he did not give up. He knew that only by staying calm and brave could he find hope of survival. Lin Nan began to move slowly, carefully exploring the surrounding environment. His eyes sometimes stared into the distance, and sometimes looked at the ground under his feet, hoping to find a glimmer of hope to get him out of the predicament in front of him. Lin Nan stood in this mysterious space, feeling the boundless darkness around him, and his heart was filled with fear and uneasiness. He moved slowly, trying to find a glimmer of life that would allow him to leave this dangerous place. Every step he took seemed to cause faint echoes in the space, making him feel as if he was in a huge amount of echo chamber. His heartbeat and breathing became extremely clear, as if they were amplified in this space. Suddenly, a ray of light flashed, and Lin Nan saw a door with huge amounts of light in the distance, emitting a faint light. He felt happy and immediately quickened his pace and walked towards the door. However, when he approached the door, he found rows of strange words on the door, flickering with light. He stared hard at the words and found that they seemed to be in an ancient and mysterious language, the meaning of which he could not understand. Lin Nan frowned, trying to think about how to open the door. At this moment, he felt a strange touch coming from under his feet. He looked down and found a strange stone slab on the ground with some strange symbols carved on it. He bent down and carefully observed the symbols on the stone slab, trying to guess their meaning. However, just as he was thinking, a faint light suddenly emerged from the middle of the stone slabs, illuminating the entire space. Lin Nan was taken aback. He looked at the scene in front of him in surprise, not knowing what was happening. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in the space. "Welcome to the Gate of Time, Lin Nan." The voice was clear and majestic, as if coming from the void. Lin Nan was stunned. He didn't know where the voice came from or who its owner was. However, his heart was full of curiosity and expectation, and he was eager to know what kind of challenges he faced. "Who is there?" Lin Nan tried to find the source of the sound, but the surroundings were still dark, and he could not see anything except the huge amounts of door. "I am the guardian of the Gate of Time. I am in charge of everything in this space." The voice sounded again, with a solemn and mysterious tone. Lin Nan's heart moved, and he knew that he was facing an extremely powerful being, and he had to deal with it carefully to get a chance to pass. "Guardian, please tell me, how should I open this door?" Lin Nan asked respectfully, trying to seek help from the other party. "You must pass the test of time before you can gain the right to pass." The voice replied, with a hint of seriousness and majesty. Lin Nan's heart moved. He knew that he was facing a difficult test, but he was not afraid. He believed that he had enough courage and wisdom to overcome all difficulties. "Please tell me, Guardian, how should I start this test?" Lin Nan requested, looking forward to the other party's answer. "You must face your past and future and find the truth in your heart before you can be recognized by the Gate of Time." The voice came slowly, with a deep and mysterious tone. Under the guidance of the Guardian of the Gate of Time, Lin Nan began his journey of trials. He was led to a mysterious room filled with an ancient and mysterious atmosphere. The surrounding walls are covered with weird symbols and patterns, making the entire space even more mysterious. Lin Nan looked around, full of curiosity and vigilance. He didn't know what kind of test he would face, but his heart was full of determination and courage. He took a deep breath and prepared to face the next challenge. This is a room that tests your inner truth. The voice of the door of time sounded again. In this room, you will face your past and future and find your inner truth. Lin Nan nodded, indicating that he was ready. His eyes scanned every corner of the room intently, trying to find clues to solve the mystery. Suddenly, a bright projection appeared on a wall in the center of the room, and various scenes from Lin Nan's past and future were reflected in the projection. He saw the various experiences he had had and the challenges and opportunities he might face in the future. Is this what I used to be like? Lin Nan stared at the projection, with various emotions surging in his heart, some of which were joy, some pain, and some confusion. Yes, this is your past and future, the true side of your heart. The voice of the gate of time sounded again. You must face yourself bravely to find the answer. Lin Nan closed his eyes and took a deep breath, trying to calm the fluctuations in his heart. He recalled his past experiences, from his ignorance as a child, to his struggles and achievements while growing up, to his current confusion and confusion. Who am I? Lin Nan asked, trying to find the answer in his heart. You are a person who pursues truth and justice, and your heart is full of courage and determination. The voice from the gate of time replied, you have experienced many challenges and tests, but you have never given up. Your heart has always been there, all guiding you forward. Lin Nan's heart moved, and he understood the truth in his heart. He is a warrior who pursues the truth. No matter how big the difficulties and challenges are, he will face them bravely and never give up. Thank you, Gate of Time. Lin Nan bowed deeply to express his gratitude. I understand now, and I will go on bravely, no matter how many difficulties and obstacles lie ahead. As Lin Nan finished speaking, the projection in the room gradually disappeared and was replaced by a bright light. The light enveloped the entire room, wrapping Lin Nan in it like a sacred blessing. Lin Nan felt huge amounts of power pouring into his body, and his heart was filled with determination and confidence. He knew that he had passed the test and received the recognition and blessing of the Gate of Time. Lin Nan walked out of the test room, holding the sparkling ticket in his hand, filled with joy and expectation. However, when he looked up and was about to move on, he suddenly saw a shocking scene. Not far away, there was a man surrounded by several soldiers in black uniforms. The man's face was full of despair and fear. Lin Nan couldn't help but quicken his pace and walk towards the place where the man was, trying to understand what happened. As he approached, he heard the voices of the soldiers, and the man's pleas. Please give me a moment, I just accidentally lost the ticket. The man begged, his voice full of despair and helplessness. I'm sorry, the rules are the rules. No tickets means you can't pass. The soldiers' voices were cold and ruthless. They held weapons and showed no intention of wavering. Lin Nan's heart moved, and he understood what happened. In this space, not having a ticket means that you cannot pass through the Gate of Time, and you will be in danger of disappearing. Wait, Lin Nan shouted, trying to stop the soldiers' actions. Let me see his condition. The soldiers stopped and turned their attention to Lin Nan. Their expressions were cold and heartless, as if they didn't care about Lin Nan's interference. Who are you? What qualifications do you have to interfere with our operations? A soldier asked coldly, his eyes full of vigilance and hostility. Lin Nan's heart trembled, and he knew that he had to deal with it carefully in order to protect that person's safety. I am a tester from the Gate of Time, and I have the right to defend him. Lin Nan replied firmly, his voice full of confidence and determination. The soldiers hesitated for a moment. They knew that the tester's identity had a certain authority in the Gate of Time, and they did not dare to offend him easily. Okay, you have 1 minute. A soldier said indifferently, still holding the weapons in their hands tightly, staring at Lin Nan warily. Lin Nan walked towards the man. He saw that the man's face was full of fear and despair, and there was a glimmer of hope in his eyes. What's your name? Lin Nan asked gently, trying to calm the other person's emotions. My name is Alan, I just accidentally lost my ticket. Alan's voice was weak, and his eyes were full of remorse. Don't worry, we will solve it. Lin Nan comforted, trying to give the other party some courage and hope. He looked around, looking for any clues that could prove Alan's identity and story. However, he didn't find any useful information and knew he had to find a way to solve this dilemma. Lin Nan quickly took out his ticket from his pocket, and this sparkling certificate became his most precious item at the moment. He handed it to the soldier carefully, hoping that it would save the troubled stranger in front of him. The soldier took the ticket, glanced over it, and after confirming the information on it, he showed a satisfied smile. He returned the ticket to Lin Nan, and then motioned to other soldiers to let Alan go. "This is your ticket, be sure to keep it carefully next time," the soldier warned, with a hint of warning in his tone. Lin Nan nodded, feeling extremely grateful. He watched the soldier hand the ticket back to him, feeling filled with joy and comfort. However, he did not leave immediately, but turned and walked towards Alan. "You're fine, remember to keep your tickets," Lin Nan said gently to Alan, hoping to give him some comfort and courage. Alan raised his head, his eyes shining with gratitude and admiration. He knew how lucky he was to get Lin Nan's help, otherwise he might have ceased to exist. "Thank you, you saved my life," Alan said gratefully, his voice full of emotion and emotion. Lin Nan smiled and nodded. He didn't say much because he knew that words could no longer express his true feelings. He turned around and left that place and moved on. However, his heart was still full of concern and worry for the stranger. He hoped that that person could successfully overcome this difficulty and return to his own world. After walking out of that scene, Lin Nan continued to move forward, knowing that he still had a long way to go. In this world full of unknowns and challenges, he must always remain vigilant and constantly improve himself in order to achieve the ultimate victory. Near the space-time door, the TV wall suddenly lit up, projecting an image of huge amounts. In the picture is a vivid animated short film depicting the origin of TVA. At the beginning of the animation, in the boundless chaos, a ray of light suddenly flashed, like a lightning bolt in the universe, piercing the darkness of chaos. The light dissipated, revealing a mysterious space, which was the birthplace of TVA. In this space, there is a magnificent building, towering into the clouds and majestic. The appearance of the building is full of science fiction colors, and the metallic luster shines with a mysterious light, as if it is a technological miracle from the future. In the picture, a group of people in uniforms are busy. They shuttle through every corner of the building and carry out busy work. Some people are staring vigilantly in front of the monitoring screen, some are conducting data analysis, and some are communicating the work between various departments. A leader-like figure stands at the top of the building, holding a golden scepter with a solemn expression and far-reaching vision. He is the founder of TVA and is in charge of the stability and order of the timeline. As the animation develops, the screen gradually switches to various scenes: the establishment of TVA, the birth of the Time Guardian, the monitoring and maintenance of the timeline, and the fight against time and space criminals. The entire animation vividly demonstrates TVA's mission and responsibilities, as well as their unremitting efforts for the peace of the universe. Lin Nan and the female agent watched the animation quietly, their hearts filled with awe and admiration. They know that TVA is one of the most important institutions in the universe, and their existence and work are crucial to the stability and order of the universe. TVA's mission is so great, the female agent said softly, her eyes showing respect for TVA. Lin Nan nodded. "Yes, they have put in huge amounts of effort for the peace of the universe," he said, deeply admiring TVA's work. On the TV wall, after the cartoon ended, the room fell into silence. A heavy emotion arose in the hearts of Lin Nan and the female agent. They realized that the peace of the universe was not hard-won, but was maintained after countless catastrophes and sacrifices. "All this is really shocking," the female agent said softly, with a trace of sadness and helplessness in her eyes. Lin Nan nodded silently. He knew that the history of the universe was full of blood and tears. Yes, the birth of the universe was diverse, but it also suffered endless wars and pain. Countless scenes emerged in their minds: interstellar wars, destruction of planets, loss of innocent lives. It was a history full of darkness and despair, where people fought for power and resources, caught in a frenzy of killing. Suddenly, a flash of light pierced their thoughts and brought them back to reality. They realized that the task at hand is the most important, and they must go all out to complete the task and protect the peace and tranquility of the universe. "We cannot let history repeat itself," Lin Nan said solemnly, his eyes firm and resolute. "We must make every effort to protect the stability and peace of the universe." The female agent nodded. Yes, we can't let those evil deeds of the past happen again, she said, with a firm light shining in her eyes. They understand that as members of TVA, they shoulder great responsibilities and must remain vigilant at all times to prevent any actions that may cause damage to the timeline. At this critical moment, they must unite and face all challenges bravely in order to protect themselves and complete their mission. Just when Lin Nan and the female agent were thinking about how to continue their mission, three mysterious figures suddenly appeared in the corner of the room. They appeared without warning, as if they appeared out of thin air. These three figures were dressed in gleaming armor and radiant helmets, as if they were warriors from the future. Their eyes reveal a kind of wisdom that transcends time and space, looking extremely mysterious and solemn. This is the Timekeeper, the female agent exclaimed, her voice full of surprise and awe. Lin Nan also frowned. He knew that the Time Guardian was the highest level existence of TVA, possessing power and wisdom beyond ordinary people. We are lucky enough to meet the Guardian of Time, he said, his voice filled with respect and admiration. The three Time Guardians slowly walked towards Lin Nan and the female agent. Their steps were light and steady, and each step exuded an unparalleled power and majesty. Their eyes scanned the entire room, as if they could discern the reality of everything. Lin Nan, female agent, we are here, one of the Time Guardians said. His voice was calm and powerful. We will organize the multi-universe into a main timeline and create order for the peace of the entire universe. Lin Nan and the female agent were moved after hearing this. They knew that the arrival of the Time Guardian meant that the order of the universe would be further maintained and stabilized. They are well aware of the power and wisdom of the Time Guardians and believe that they will be able to complete this important task. We will go all out to cooperate with the work of the Time Guardian, Lin Nan said solemnly, his voice full of firmness and determination. The female agent also nodded. Yes, we will do our best to make our own contribution to the peace of the universe, she said, with a firm light shining in her eyes. The three Time Guardians smiled slightly after hearing this. They knew that with the cooperation of Lin Nan and the female agent, this mission would be smoother and more successful. They confidently believe that as long as they unite as one and work together, they will be able to create a better future for the peace of the universe. Under the leadership of the Time Guardian, Lin Nan, the female agent and other TVA members began an arduous task. They went all out to sort out and maintain the multi-universe timeline. They worked tirelessly, day and night, and exhausted all methods and means to maintain the stability and harmony of the timeline. In the process, TVA became one of the most important institutions in the universe. They have set up various monitoring equipment and observation stations to monitor the changes and evolution of every timeline around the clock. They have established strict management systems and security measures to ensure that the timeline will not be subject to any damage or interference. Under the supervision of TVA, the multi-universe timeline is effectively managed and maintained. Any attempt to interfere with the timeline will be promptly detected and stopped. Their work is extremely efficient, giving people confidence and hope in the future of the universe. Our job is to protect the stability of the timeline, a TVA member said, their voices full of pride and responsibility. Only by maintaining the integrity and harmony of the timeline can the universe be peaceful and prosperous. Lin Nan and the female agent have also actively participated in the work of TVA. They are always vigilant and use their wisdom and strength to contribute to the peace of the universe. They understand the importance of the timeline and understand that only through unity and cooperation can the stability and tranquility of the universe be protected. Under TVA's supervision, the universe has entered a period of long-term stability. People have lived a stable and happy life, no longer worrying about wars and disasters. They are grateful to the heroes who silently guard the timeline, because it is because of their existence that the universe can maintain lasting peace and prosperity. While TVA has become one of the most important forces in the universe, they have also shouldered the responsibility of maintaining the stability of the timeline. For those who try to destroy the timeline wantonly in the multi-universe, TVA has taken severe punitive measures to maintain the peace and order of the universe. When someone violates the rules of the timeline and attempts to seek personal gain or cause destruction by traveling through different time and space, TVA's agents will immediately take action to arrest them. Wearing armor and holding high-tech weapons, they hunted quickly and orderly, leaving no chance for criminals to escape. Target locked. Prepare to hunt. A TVA agent ordered, his voice cold and decisive. Under his command, TVA agents quickly dispersed and occupied important positions, forming a tight blockade network. Their eyes are fixed on every suspicious movement, ready to take action at any time to bring criminals to justice. Suddenly, a flash of light came from a distance, and a figure shuttled between time and space like lightning, trying to escape TVA's pursuit. He is extremely fast and elusive, but under the intense firepower of TVA agents, he cannot escape the grasp of fate. "Don't move," an agent shouted, the weapon in his hand already aimed at the target. However, the criminal did not seem to be willing to obey the order. He still tried to escape from TVA's pursuit and escape at all costs. "You can't escape," another agent said coldly, his eyes shining with determination. At this moment, Lin Nan and the female agent also joined the hunt. Their quick movements and tacit cooperation gave criminals no chance to escape. "Don't even think about running away," Lin Nan said coldly, his voice revealing an unshakable determination. The female agent followed closely. "Surrender, you have no way out." Facing the siege of TVA agents, the criminal gradually felt desperate, knowing that he could no longer escape. Finally, he gave up his resistance and raised his hands to express surrender. "Well done." An agent stepped forward and cuffed the criminal's hands, his voice filled with the joy of victory. Lin Nan is a young scientist from Earth. An unexpected experimental accident allowed him to travel to this unknown universe. Seeing a strange and magnificent starry sky in front of him, Lin Nan was filled with curiosity and uneasiness. As time goes by, Lin Nan gradually adapts to life in this foreign universe. He discovered that this place is different from the Earth. There are various fantastic and powerful creatures and energies in the universe here. What fascinates him the most is the superheroes and supernatural powers that exist here. On a planet, he met a team of superheroes similar to the Avengers on Earth. These heroes have their own unique abilities and missions, and they fight to protect the peace of the universe. Lin Nan also met some extraordinary partners, who led him to gradually understand the mysteries of the universe. However, not long after, the universe fell into an unprecedented crisis. A dark force from the depths of the universe threatens the peace and tranquility of the entire galaxy. The superheroes had to join forces to launch a fierce confrontation. Lin Nan played a key role in this battle. He uses his knowledge of Earth's technology to provide unprecedented support and weapons to the heroic team. At the same time, he continues to explore and strengthen his potential in battle. As the battle progressed, Lin Nan gradually realized that his arrival was no accident. He may be the key to a certain prophecy in the universe, and his power may be the decisive factor in this battle. During this journey, Lin Nan not only established a deep friendship with the superheroes, but also deeply understood the true meaning of responsibility and courage. His heart is filled with expectations for the future and infinite desire to explore the universe. Lin Nan and Karma Taj stood on the open-air platform of the interstellar city. Behind them was the bright starry night sky, and in front of them were the towering skyscrapers of the universe. They are holding a confidential dossier just collected from the Space Supervision Bureau, which records a series of clues related to dark forces. Karma Taj is a senior space investigator on this planet. She is proficient in various alien cultures and secret intelligence, and often travels to every corner of the universe. Lin Nan was involved in the catastrophe of the universe because of a time travel accident, and became one of the key figures in this battle of the universe. The clues in this dossier look very tricky. According to records, these dark forces seem to be hiding in some corner of the universe. What is their purpose? Lin Nan frowned, his face revealing a hint of worry. Karma Taj switched the light screen projection in front of her to the first clue in the dossier, and a coded record appeared. She stared at the screen and said in a serious tone, "These clues show that the dark forces are trying to control an energy source, which is said to have the power to manipulate the matter in the universe. If this energy falls into their hands, the entire universe will face destruction." Threat. Lin Nan's eyes were fixed on the record on the screen, and a sense of determination surged in his heart. "We must stop them," he said without hesitation. "Yes, but these clues are not enough. We need more information and evidence to determine the specific action plan of the dark forces." Karma Taj looked at Lin Nan with concern. She knew that the ability of this Earth scientist should not be underestimated, but the difficulty of this confrontation exceeded his imagination. They decided to go to an abandoned planet in the universe, which was once a secret base of the dark forces. Traveling between the stars, they came to this desolate planet, a ruin at the end of the galaxy. It seems that this place has been abandoned for a long time. Lin Nan looked around and felt the dead silence and heaviness emanating from this planet. Suddenly, a strange energy fluctuation caught their attention. They immediately became vigilant and hid in the ruins. A black figure appeared in the distance, as if searching for something. That's, Lin Nan whispered. Scouters of the dark forces. We have to be careful not to expose our whereabouts. Karma Taj frowned. She was well aware of the methods of these dark forces. The two quietly shuttled between the wreckage of the planet, trying to avoid the search of the scouts. Suddenly, a noisy sound came from under their feet, and a group of mechanized creatures suddenly emerged from the ruins and attacked them. Quick, Lin Nan, we have to get out of here. Karma Taj clenched the energy weapon in his hand and fought side by side with Lin Nan. Lin Nan didn't show any weakness. He activated the technological device in his hand and released powerful energy fluctuations, knocking back the mechanical creatures one by one. After a fierce battle, the two finally got rid of their pursuers and hid in the dark corners of the planet. We must find their hiding place and get more clues. Lin Nan's eyes were firm. Karma Taj nodded. She knew the danger of this mission, but she also believed in Lin Nan's determination and courage. They continued to move forward, traveling between the stars, following the traces of the dark forces. Lin Nan and Karma Taj travel between the stars. Their purpose is to investigate the whereabouts of dark forces and find key clues that can prevent the end of the universe. After a fierce battle, they came to a long-abandoned space station, which was said to be one of the secret bases of the dark forces. Standing among the ruins, the two frowned. It was completely silent here, and when the wind blew, there was only the faint sound of debris from the ruins blown by the wind and sand. Karma Taj manipulated the reconnaissance equipment in his hands, trying to find some clues. Lin Nan, this place was once an important stronghold of the dark forces. We have to be careful and not be careless. Karma Taj warned. Lin Nan nodded. He also felt the hidden crisis in the ruins. Suddenly, his technology detector sent out a weak signal. He walked towards the source of the signal and found a ruined door that was ajar. There is a door here. Maybe we can find some clues. Lin Nan said. The two quietly approached the door. Lin Nan carefully pushed the door open a gap, and they got in at the same time. Behind the door is a dim corridor, the walls covered with old control panels and flickering lights. They walked deeper along the corridor, occasionally avoiding falling stones and broken machinery. At the end of the corridor, they came to a control room of huge amounts. This was once the center used by the dark forces to monitor the universe. In the center of the control room is a huge amount of display screen, which flashes various interstellar information. Look here, these data. Karma Taj frowned, trying to decipher the text and charts on the screen. Lin Nan walked to the console and tried to start the display. A series of star charts and timelines were immediately displayed on the screen, and some unusual lights caught their attention. Are these abnormally lit times and places the place where the end of the universe will occur? Lin Nan's eyes widened and he said in shock. Karma Taj stared at the screen, a hint of worry in her eyes. It seems that the dark forces are not only trying to control the energy source, they are also trying to change the time trajectory of the universe and create the end of the world. Suddenly, the alarm in the control room sounded, and a dark forces agent team appeared at the door. They were armed to the teeth and stared at Lin Nan and Kamathaj expressionlessly. We have to get out of here. Lin Nan shouted. Karma Taj reacted quickly. She took out her energy gun and fought side by side with Lin Nan. The control room suddenly burst into flames, and the collision of energy weapons continued to sound. Lin Nan cleverly used the equipment on the console to try to interfere with the agent team's communications and equipment. Karma Taj turned into a bolt of lightning, flexibly shuttled through the battlefield, and instantly knocked down several agents. The battle was extremely fierce, and the cooperation between Lin Nan and Kamathaj became more and more tacit. They used the surrounding bunkers and mechanical wreckage to constantly avoid enemy attacks while trying to find opportunities to escape. Finally, the two took advantage of the agent team's momentary hesitation to successfully break through and escape the encirclement of the control room. They ran out of the ruins along the corridor and came to the surface of the planet. We have to find a way to stop the Dark Forces' plan. Lin Nan gasped. Karma Taj clenched her fists, knowing that this battle was just the beginning, and the conspiracy of the Dark Forces was far from being revealed. They must find more clues as soon as possible to prevent the end of the universe from happening. Lin Nan and Karma Taj traveled through the universe and continued to pursue clues to the Dark Forces. Their journey is full of danger and uncertainty, but it also gradually reveals the complexity of this cosmic crisis. Sitting in the control room of the spaceship, Lin Nan and Karma Taj reviewed their previous combat experiences. Lin Nan, you are such a strange earthling. How could you still remember the crimes you committed when you were a child at such a critical moment? Karma Taj asked with a smile. Lin Nan showed a trace of embarrassment on his face. He coughed lightly and explained, well, it was just a boring kid's prank. I'm not a bad person. Karma Taj was smiling, and she was quite interested in Lin Nan's curiosity. Tell me, what happened? Lin Nan stared quietly out of the spaceship window, recalling that interesting past. Actually, it was a long time ago. I was still a naughty child. One day, I sneaked into a research laboratory. At that time, I was very interested in technology and always wanted to explore some new things. I found a jar of blue substance that looked like candy, and then... Lin Nan paused, with a childlike smile flashing in his eyes. Karma Taj asked curiously, then what? What did you do with that blue substance? Lin Nan smiled and continued. Then I took some of the blue substance, made it into the shape of a candy, and gave it to a group of children nearby. After they ate it, their mouths were full of blue. Look, it sounded funny, but later I found out that it was actually an experimental pigment, not suitable for eating at all. Fortunately, they were all fine, they just turned into temporary Smurfs, haha. After hearing this, Karma Taj couldn't help laughing. Lin Nan, you are such a naughty kid. However, your enthusiasm and curiosity for science and technology are indeed admirable. Perhaps it is this spirit that makes you a key figure in our operation. Lin Nan smiled slightly, feeling proud in his heart. He did not expect that his childhood naughtiness would be connected with today's mission. This relaxed conversation made him feel an unprecedented sense of ease and relief. Suddenly, the spaceship's control panel sounded an alarm. Karma Taj immediately became vigilant and checked. There are abnormal energy fluctuations. It seems that something is changing near us. Karma Taj frowned. Lin Nan also checked the equipment and found abnormal energy ripples. They immediately started the spaceship and sailed towards the source of the energy fluctuation. During the shuttle, Lin Nan and Karma Taj kept adjusting their equipment, trying to capture more information. Suddenly, an abandoned planet appeared in their field of vision. This is the source of energy fluctuations. Let's go see what's going on, Lin Nan said. The spaceship slowly landed on the surface of the planet, and the two of them put on their equipment and prepared to investigate. The planet is desolate, with flying sand and dust, and the surface is covered with thick dust. Lin Nan and Karma Taj walked carefully on the surface of the planet, their detection equipment constantly sending out weak signals. Suddenly, a dazzling light rushed out from the underground of the planet, passed by them, and transformed into a tall space warrior. Who are you? Why did you break into our territory? The space warrior looked at Lin Nan and Karma Taj warily. Karma Taj quickly explained, we are cosmic investigators, from the Alliance Against the Dark Forces. We have tracked abnormal energy fluctuations and come here to investigate. The space warrior pondered for a moment and seemed a little relieved by their explanation. They learned that this cosmic warrior was the guardian of the planet and was responsible for guarding an important energy structure here. We discovered some abnormal energy fluctuations, which may be a conspiracy of dark forces. Lin Nan said, trying to explain their purpose. The space warrior frowned, and he seemed to realize the seriousness of this problem. He agreed to cooperate with Lin Nan and Kamal Taj to investigate the abnormal phenomena on this planet. The three of them walked towards the core area of the energy structure. Lin Nan's technology detector kept sounding alarms, indicating the direction of abnormal energy fluctuations. Suddenly, a group of Dark Forces agents appeared around the energy structure, and their target was obviously this energy source. It seems they have discovered this place. We have to stop them. Karma-Taj tightly held the energy weapon in his hand. Lin Nan also stared at these agents, and a hint of determination flashed in his mind. They must stop the conspiracy of the dark forces and protect the tranquility of the universe. In the core area of the planet's energy structure, Lin Nan, Kamathaj and the Space Warriors launched a fierce confrontation with the agents of the dark forces. The energy structure is surrounded by sparks and energy fluctuations, and the battlefield is changing rapidly. Lin Nan used his own technological devices to release powerful energy waves, knocking back a group of agents. His thinking is quick, he can respond flexibly to changes on the battlefield, and he always remains vigilant. Kamathaj uses superb combat skills to flexibly shuttle between enemies. She held an energy weapon and emitted a dazzling light, defeating the offensive of the dark forces with one strike. As an important force of the team, the Space Warriors subdue the surrounding agents one by one with their powerful cosmic energy. During the break in the battle, Lin Nan couldn't help but ask, "Space Warrior, what do you know about the purpose of these dark forces? Why are they so obsessed with the energy structure here?" The Space Warrior pondered for a moment, and then said, "According to our intelligence, the dark forces are trying to use this energy structure to change the time trajectory of the universe and cause the end of the world. They pursue endless power and control, even at the expense of destroying everything. We must stop it. They protect the peace and tranquility of the universe." Lin Nan and Kamathaj were shocked after hearing this. They realized the viciousness and madness of the dark forces. In the vastness of the universe, a devastating doomsday will bring endless disaster and pain. The battle continued, and agents kept attacking, but Lin Nan and Karma-Taj cooperated tacitly with the Space Warriors and always maintained the upper hand. Their goal is clear, which is to stop the conspiracy of the dark forces and protect the peace of the universe. Suddenly, an agent rushes to the core of the energy structure, trying to manipulate the energy within it. Kamataj's eyes narrowed and he immediately launched a counterattack. "Don't let them get close to the energy core," Karma-Taj shouted. Lin Nan seized the opportunity and decided to use his own technological means to interfere with the control system of the energy structure. He hurriedly manipulated the equipment, trying to cut off the connection between the dark force agent and the energy core. The agents are getting more and more crazy, and they want to put the energy structure under their control at all costs. But faced with the stubborn resistance of Lin Nan, Karma-Taj and the Space Warriors, they were still unable to break through the defense line. The battle entered a critical moment, and the energy structure shook violently, as if the heart of the universe was beating. Lin Nan felt a powerful energy pouring out of the ground, and he realized that this was not only a battle, but also a decision about the fate of the universe. Suddenly, a thought flashed through his mind. There was a strange contrast between the time of the end of the world and the time when he was a child and was naughty and criminal. When he was a child, he ignorantly used technological experiments to make blue candies. Today, the dark forces are trying to use technology to change the future of the universe. This contrast made him enlightened. We must stop them." Lin Nan's eyes flashed with determination. Karma-Taj nodded. She understood Lin Nan's determination. They continued to resist with all their strength and continued to repel the attacks of the agents. The Space Warrior stared at the energy core. He suddenly raised the energy rod in his hand and sent out a powerful energy wave. The energy core lights up instantly, releasing powerful cosmic energy. The agents of darkness retreated in horror, their plot completely defeated. Lin Nan, Karma-Taj and the Space Warrior stood in front of the energy structure, feeling the joy of victory. But at this moment, the energy structure began to collapse, and the energy of the universe was out of control. The three faced huge amounts of energy storms, and their hearts were filled with endless challenges. "We must guide this energy back to the universe, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous," the Space Warrior shouted loudly. Faced with the huge crisis caused by the collapse of the energy structure, Lin Nan, Kamathaj and the Space Warriors took emergency action to try to guide the out-of-control cosmic energy back into the universe. Lin Nan concentrated on controlling the technological devices, trying to find the context of energy fluctuations. His eyes were burning, and his fingers moved quickly on the control panel, trying to grasp the laws of energy. Karma-Taj used her own cosmic power to form an energy barrier to block the collapsing energy wave. Her forehead was covered with fine beads of sweat, but she did not flinch and stood firmly in front of the energy structure. The cosmic warriors released more powerful cosmic energy in an attempt to stabilize the collapsed core. His eyes are firm and profound, reflecting his decisiveness and bravery as the guardian of the universe. The energy storm raged, and the surface of the planet was in chaos. Lin Nan and the other two maintained a high degree of concentration and collaboration at the most critical moments, and their cooperation made the entire team stronger. Finally, under Lin Nan's technological intervention, the energy fluctuations gradually stabilized. Karma Taj's energy barrier plays a key role, reflecting most of the energy back into the universe. The cosmic energy of the cosmic warrior calmed the collapsed core and stabilized the entire energy structure. "We succeeded," Karma Taj gasped. She looked at Lin Nan and the space warriors and showed a smile of relief. Lin Nan also breathed a sigh of relief, feeling the joy brought by victory. But then, he became alert again and realized that this was just the beginning of a battle. The conspiracy of the dark forces is not over yet. We must find their hiding place and stop their evil plans. Lin Nan frowned, his eyes shining with determination. The space warrior nodded in agreement. He knows the ambitions of the dark forces, which are not only a threat to the universe, but also a challenge to the entire life. After discussion, the three decided to continue moving forward to find the hiding place of the dark forces. Based on the latest intelligence analysis, they speculated that the villain Lin Nan is likely to be hiding in an abandoned space station in the universe. Traveling between the stars, spaceships fly in the void. Lin Nan used his own technological equipment to scan the surrounding space signals. Karma Taj tries to find abnormal fluctuations through cosmic energy perception. Suddenly, an abandoned space station appeared in their field of vision. This space station seems to have been a bustling space hub, but now it has been abandoned for many years. "That's their hiding place," the space warrior said, pointing to the space station. Lin Nan, Karma Taj and the space warriors were shocked. They knew that this would be a decisive battle. They quietly approached the space station, trying to find a way to enter. The interior of the space station is dark and silent, with wreckage and ruins everywhere. Lin Nan led the other two people to explore carefully. They didn't know what kind of danger they would encounter in this space station. Suddenly, an energy barrier appeared in front of them, blocking the way forward. "You're in the wrong place." A familiar voice sounded. It turned out to be the villain Lin Nan. He stood behind the energy barrier and looked at them with a sneer. Karma Taj frowned, knowing that her opponent this time was not simple. "Lin Nan, give up, your conspiracy has been exposed." The villain Lin Nan didn't take it seriously, with a crazy light shining in his eyes. "You have no idea that changing the time trajectory of the universe is unstoppable. I will prove that I am the master of the universe." Lin Nan clenched his fist tightly, full of anger and determination towards his opponent. "Your madness will harm innocent lives, we will never allow it." The interior of the space station is filled with energy collisions and spark explosions, and the battle is extremely fierce. Lin Nan had a fierce battle with his villain opponent, and the energy impact of both sides echoed in the wreckage of the space station. "Your crazy behavior will only bring destruction, stop it." Karma Taj's voice was full of warning. The villain Lin Nan was unmoved, his eyes flashed with extreme persistence and madness. "You can't stop me, I will control the future of the universe." Lin Nan stood calmly in the center of the battlefield, his heart filled with firm belief. He knows the importance of this battle, which is not only related to the fate of the universe, but also related to the safety of countless lives. During the battle, Lin Nan constantly used his own technological devices to try to find the weakness of the villain Lin Nan. His fingers moved quickly on the control panel, releasing powerful energy fluctuations in an attempt to weaken the opponent's defense. Karma Taj transforms into a bolt of lightning, flexibly shuttles between battlefields, trying to surprise the opponent from the side. Her energy weapon emitted a dazzling light, defeating the villain Lin Nan's defense with one blow. The space warrior releases cosmic energy and forms a powerful barrier to resist the opponent's attack. His body is tall and majestic, reflecting the endless power of the guardian of the universe. The battle was in full swing, and the space station fell into chaos. Explosions and energy fluctuations continued to sound, causing the entire space station to shake. Suddenly, a huge amount of shock wave came, and the entire space station shook. Lin Nan, Karma-Taj and the Space Warriors had to carefully maintain their balance to avoid being impacted by the destructive forces of the battlefield. I can't hold on anymore, Lin Nan shouted loudly. Karma-Taj frowned tightly, realizing that the battle had entered the most dangerous stage. She turned to look at the Space Warrior, with a hint of worry in her eyes. The Space Warrior was calm and composed, his eyes revealing endless decisiveness and determination. He knew that victory in this battle would determine the fate of the universe, and he would not tolerate failure. Lin Nan thought calmly, trying to find a way to defeat his opponent. An idea flashed through his mind, to use the structure of the space station to unleash the opponent's energy backlash. Space Warrior, we need to use the structure of the space station to unleash our opponent's energy backlash. Lin Nan quickly conveyed his thoughts. Karma-Taj and the Space Warriors immediately adopted his suggestion. They began to adjust their tactics and tried to guide their opponents to the core area of the space station. When the villain Lin Nan saw their actions, a trace of uneasiness flashed in his eyes. He realized that the opponent's formation had changed, but he did not intend to give up. He firmly believed that his strength could defeat everything. The battle broke out again. Lin Nan, Karma-Taj and the Space Warriors cooperated tacitly, trying to lead their opponents into the core area of the space station. You can't stop me, the villain Lin Nan's voice echoed in the space station. Lin Nan responded calmly, his heart full of firm belief. At the most critical moment, he united with his comrades and determined to protect the peace and tranquility of the universe. Finally, the villain Lin Nan was induced to enter the core area of the space station. He felt a powerful energy surging around him, but he could no longer control it. Give up, you have failed, Karma-Taj said calmly. The villain Lin Nan looked at the situation around him desperately, knowing that he was in a desperate situation. But he still refused to admit defeat and tried to launch a final resistance. The interior of the space station was in chaos, and energy was constantly surging in the core area. Lin Nan and his comrades faced the final challenge, determined to end the conspiracy of the dark forces. Suddenly, a dazzling light shone all around. The entire space station fell into silence. The Ancient One Mage, as an authoritative person with profound magical knowledge, is always full of keen insight into various mysterious events in the universe. After learning that Lin Nan, Karma-Taj and the Space Warriors were facing a fierce confrontation with dark forces, the Ancient One Mage decided to help. The Ancient One Mage applied for a group of special team members from the Universe Judge to deal with this major crisis. Each of these team members has extraordinary abilities and unique skills, making them the most elite warriors in the universe. A group of people, including the Ancient One Mage, Lin Nan, Karma-Taj, Space Warriors and newly joined special team members, gathered together and headed to the location of the crime, the hurricane-hit area of Alabama. After the storm, the Alabama city swayed in the wind and rain, with debris scattered on the streets. The sun shines through the thick dark clouds, reflecting the chaos and ruin. The Ancient One Mage led this team and went deep into the disaster area to investigate the truth of the case. They walked along the destroyed streets, looking for any possible clues. Lin Nan walked at the front of the team. He looked around alertly, trying to catch any unusual signs. Karma-Taj uses her own cosmic energy to scan the energy fluctuations around her, trying to find useful information. The Space Warriors protect the rear of the team and are always ready to deal with possible threats. The newly joined special team members started their own work and investigated the situation in the disaster area. Suddenly, Kamal-Taj's eyes stopped on a damaged building. She pointed there and said, "There is an abnormal energy fluctuation there, which may be the key to the case." The Ancient One Mage frowned slightly. He stared at the buildings in the distance, feeling the special energy fluctuations. He decided to lead the team to investigate. The group walked through the ruins and broken walls and came to the source of the energy fluctuations. This is a high-rise building that was once a commercial center. It has been abandoned for many years and was destroyed beyond recognition by the hurricane. The Ancient One Mage raised his hand, released a burst of magic energy, and explored the surrounding situation. His eyes were thoughtful and focused, trying to unlock the key to the mystery. Suddenly, a ghostly figure appeared in front of the team. This is a special team member from the Ancient One Mage, possessing a mysterious ability. I feel an evil aura, which seems to be hidden inside this building. The voice of the special team member was low in vicissitudes of life. The Ancient One mage frowned. He knew that the key to this investigation was to explore the inside of the building. He took a deep breath and gave the order. Let's go in and be careful. The Ancient One mage's tone was solemn. The team entered the abandoned building, and a cold breath hit their faces. The lights in the corridor flickered, casting strange shadows. Suddenly, a burst of deep laughter sounded in the corridor. Lin Nan, Karma Taj and the space warriors immediately became alert and held the weapons in their hands tightly. You came just in time, ha ha ha. A sinister voice came from behind them. Along with the sound, an agent of the dark forces appeared in front of them. His eyes are cold and cunning, and he holds an energy weapon, ready to attack. Lin Nan quickly dodged, his eyes flashing with sharp light. Karma Taj released cosmic energy in an attempt to create an energy barrier. The Ancient One mage uses his magical power to launch powerful energy fluctuations in an attempt to suppress his opponent. The space warriors quickly counterattacked, forcing the agent into a desperate situation. The battle unfolds in the corridors, with energy blasts and sparks flying. Lin Nan worked closely with his teammates to try to defeat the agent. The team followed the guidance of energy fluctuations and came to the local supermarket warehouse to look for key clues to the case. Under the arrangement of the Ancient One mage, they decided to split up and explore different areas of the warehouse. Had, you and Lin Nan go to the west area together. Kama and I are in charge of the east side. Space Warrior, you stay here to guard. The Ancient One mage arranged. Hard is one of the team members specially recruited by the Ancient One mage. He has the magical ability to control the elements. Harder was full of curiosity about Lin Nan and hoped to cooperate with him to understand his abilities and experience. Lin Nan nodded and showed a friendly smile to Harder. We will go together and our cooperation will be more efficient. Hard nodded excitedly, looking forward to taking action with Lin Nan. He knew that Lin Nan was a very powerful and intelligent warrior and was of great significance to this mission. The two entered the west area in tacit understanding, and the warehouse was dark and quiet. Various groceries and items were placed on the shelves, and the smell of dust filled the air. It looks like no one has been here for a long time. Lin Nan looked around, his eyes scanning every corner. Harder stared at Lin Nan and said enthusiastically, Lin Nan, I have heard about some of your previous combat experiences, which are very admirable. Can you tell me how you mastered such a powerful force? Lin Nan smiled, feeling satisfied and proud of his growth experience. I have experienced a lot of challenges and training, and through continuous learning and hard work, I have gradually mastered my ability. But I believe that everyone has potential that can be explored as long as they are willing to work hard. Hader listened with great interest, and he was full of admiration for Lin Nan's attitude. I also hope to become an outstanding warrior like you one day. The two continued to move forward while talking. Suddenly, an abnormal energy fluctuation came from deep in the warehouse. They quickly rushed to the source of the fluctuation. Arriving at the location of the fluctuation, the two discovered a secret room hidden behind the cargo. The door to the secret room was open, emitting strange energy. Lin Nan frowned and looked at the entrance of the secret room alertly. There seems to be some secret hidden here. Let's be careful and be prepared for possible dangers. Hader nodded, and he also felt an unusual aura. The two walked into the secret room and were stunned by the scene inside. The secret room is filled with technological equipment and energy devices, and various strange symbols and patterns decorate the walls. The most eye-catching one is a huge amount of energy orb, emitting a mesmerizing and dangerous light. What is this? Harder asked curiously. Lin Nan stared at the energy sphere, trying to analyze its properties. It looks like an advanced energy device, possibly used to manipulate and change energy fluctuations. Suddenly, a voice sounded in the secret room. You came just in time, ha ha ha. A shadow appeared in front of them, which was the Dark Force agent before. Harder immediately prepared for battle, his body surrounded by a layer of elemental energy. Lin Nan held the weapon in his hand tightly and stared at his opponent warily. The Dark Force agent sneered, his eyes dark and fierce. He waved the energy weapon in his hand and released a powerful energy wave, attacking Lin Nan and Harder. Lin Nan quickly dodged, his body flexibly dodging the energy wave. Harder turned into a ball of flame and tried to cause interference. The battle broke out in the secret room, and energy fluctuations continued to hit the walls. Lin Nan and Harder cooperated tacitly, trying to defeat the agent and protect this dangerous energy device from being used. Suddenly, a powerful energy shock erupted from the energy device, illuminating the entire secret room. Lin Nan and Harder were pushed back continuously by the impact, and they felt huge amounts of pressure. The energy of this device is becoming increasingly unstable. Lin Nan warned loudly. Faced with the instability of the energy device and the rampant attacks of the Dark Force agents, Lin Nan and Hade launched a counterattack nervously and decisively. Lin Nan nimbly dodged the energy fluctuations while trying to find opportunities to attack. Harder turned into a blazing flame and launched a powerful attack on the agent. Agent seemed to be at ease. His energy weapon released a dazzling light, trying to resist the attacks of Lin Nan and Harder. The space in the secret room was filled with energy fluctuations, making the whole scene extremely tense and dangerous. The Ancient One Mage was observing the situation from a distance, his brows furrowed. He is well aware of the danger of this energy device. Once out of control, it will bring devastating consequences to the entire region. We must subdue him as soon as possible and stabilize the energy device. Came the voice of the Ancient One Mage. Lin Nan and Hade followed the instructions of the Ancient One Mage. They cooperated tacitly and tried to force the agent into trouble. Lin Nan used his own technological devices to release energy shocks. Harder constantly changes his form to create surprise attacks and disturbances. The agent roared, and his offensive became more fierce. The energy fluctuations around the energy device became more and more violent, and the space was filled with the sound of powerful energy collisions. Lin Nan seized an opportunity and suddenly rushed towards the agent, trying to seize the energy weapon in his hand. Although the agent is powerful, it is difficult to guard against Lin Nan's flexibility and combat experience. Harder took the opportunity to launch a powerful fire attack, pushing the agent into the pile of debris aside. The agent let out a scream, but quickly stood up again, staring at Lin Nan and Hader angrily. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.